this company, as stated in their company records at the Registrar General's Department, is to build, establish, manage, and operate a nationwide wholesale shared 4G and 5G mobile and fixed wireless network. The nature of the business is also same: to build, establish, manage, and operate a nationwide wholesale shared 4G and 5G mobile and fixed wireless network. Now, if you look at the date of incorporation, let's look at the next document that was indeed not disputed but also acknowledged. In fact, it was admitted by Eslawusu Ekufo when Manasseh Azuria, when he put this out in that Facebook page on the 30th of May. Azuria, when he highlighting the company was incorporated less than a week before President Akufo-Addo executed that executive approval for the deal. In fact, the question about the timing is what raising some eyebrows, considering the significant nature of this particular contract. This is the document from the National Communications Authority making reference to the aforementioned matters of the allocation of the spectrum for 5G and 4G. And if you read the paragraph 2, it says, His Excellency the President granted executive approval on the 22nd of August 2023. 22nd of August 2023. That is the date on this executive, this statement by the National Communications Authority. Executive approval was granted on the 22nd, 2023. 22nd of August. Now, bear in mind, the date for incorporation of this next-gen infraco in that first document that I showed you. So within the 27th or between the 22nd of August and that date on the date of incorporation of this company is just 1 week that this executive approval was given. Eslawusu Ekufo indeed confessed that there was good reason for this particular company being given this contract, even though it was just 1 week after its incorporation. The explanation was that the new special purpose vehicle, Next Gen Infraco, was a collaboration between government and Ascent Digital, KNet, Radisys, Nokia, Tech Mahindra, supported by all mobile networks and so on. And the indication is, as you see there, the National Communications Authority also giving further details for this justification as given by the Minister for Digitalization, that this company was specifically created for this purpose of rolling out the 5G network because there was no existing neutral infrastructure company capable of handling the rollout at the time. And it is this point that has been questioned quite strongly by the persons who know about this industry, and then also the fundamental question about the details of this company. Let's get into it now. Nelson Roxon Dafiamekbo is joining us now. He's Member of Parliament for the South Dike Constituency, private legal practitioner. He's a member of the Public Accounts Committee and a few other committees in Parliament. Honorable Nelson Roxon Dafiamekbo, good morning, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning to Prof, my brother Gary, and Senior. No, I was in Congo.
Okay. Nelson is still my very good brother.
What's the meaning of still? What's the meaning of still?
Martin is my former friend.
Your ex-friend.
Yeah, my ex-friend.
My church mate.
Yeah. But not your ex-church mate.
Church mate as well.
Anyway.
He has fallen, though.
Yes,
Gary was a seminarian.
Yes.
That's okay.
From grace to grass.
How did I fall?
Hey, you're falling from glory.
They will open your
It's okay.
Your Pandora's box.
Excellent.
So
Then you see the seminarian turned bad
let me
boy.
start off with yourself and some civil society actors had already started raising fundamental questions about this deal. What exactly is of concern in here? Quickly.
Yeah, so you see, Mr. Ocansey, a number of things wrong. In the first place, a 1-week-old baby. Can you imagine? You're giving such a huge infrastructure to a 1-week-old baby. How? That's a key point. You just look at it. 1 week old. So what is this industrial experience that this week-old baby would have had? That's a key thing. Don't go beyond that. What is that industrial experience? What is it? Within a week. But within a week, you would barely have even, finished setting up. Because, once you incorporate, right, then you're going to, look, I even tell you that, look, by the time you are done incorporating, you would not have finished with the other agencies in terms of setting up within a week. Because you you go to GRA, you do SNET, etc. No. It just tells you that this deal was cooked. Once again, of course, when you see President Kufuor giving,
this deal was cooked.
It was cooked. Then you see the mother serpent of corruption is at it again. That's it. Oh yes, it's Amidu who Christian. And I keep saying that it's not just Amidu Christian President Kufuor. For me, that 800 million he added to the Ameri deal, which led to the sacking of Boache Ejako. Boache Ejako said, look, he doesn't know about it. It's between Kufuor and Gabi. You pad the contract by 800 million. You think any other thing you do, we will trust you?
So you said that those fundamental questions about the policy document guiding this exclusive allocation, that's one of the questions that you're asking, that it should be made available for all to see?
Absolutely, yes, because it's not rocket science. Please, show it again. You see the shareholder. The shareholder is who? They say integrated legal what? Consultants. Is that not so? Please show it again. Is that not lawyers or in the business of providing legal services? Legal consultants.
That's what is on the screen there. Let's go up. Let's go. Let's keep going. Yes.
Yeah. So what I see is that when you check on the net, excuse me, have you gone past it?
No.
The shareholder.
Yes. So
it
will scroll up. It will scroll.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that
I'll
point.
continue. So when you scroll,
The shareholder trustee
online,
details.
It's a law firm.
Integrated Legal Consultants Limited.
Yeah, shareholder.
House number it gives in there. So
Yes.
that's your shareholder trustee details.
You see it. And then where is the beneficial owner? Did you get that one? But in the meantime, when you check online, they say, this is what they say. They say that Integrated Legal Consultants, we are a full service law firm that has established a reputation for providing the highest quality of legal services as we keep pace with the needs of, we'll go on. So the point is that even from the shareholder perspective, you begin to do the analysis, see that what is it. Your shareholder says, look, I provide the best legal services. But it happens that this one, I know, you can make an argument that the shareholder doesn't have to be involved in providing the services by itself, right? It can hire other professionals. But trust me, when the shareholder, by what we see so far, is not a connoisseur, is not an expert in the industry, that is also a challenge, because it comes with a vision.
You check the background of this person. So the shareholder beneficiary details is what is on the screen. The name given there is Olusola Adejumoke Ogundimu.
Yeah.
Ogundimu.
Yes, and there is that thing that
Is Ghanaian, by the way.
Yes, but some Nigerian origin, of course.
Yes.
There are some Nigerian. When you go in there, they'll tell you that, oh, as for Minister of Communication, the dossier, the malfeasance there.
Let's stay on this one.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that this is just a tip of the iceberg. I've dealt with a certain client in the past, and we've written in this area. Yeah, there's some fiber optics contracts, and there's been so many murky things. There are people who have a full dossier. You see, January 7th, you will see the things that will come out. As for SLS ministry, it's explosive. Just wait, 6 months, right? So this is just another one of those contracts, thinking like that. But it's not the first, and it's not this is the only one, right? So when you look at all of this, you will just see that something is not adding up. Something is just not adding up, and certainly this is headed, or this is definitely in the direction of corruption. Well, that 1 week old baby, as I've said, when you incorporate today, they give you your incorporation certificate and your documents today. By the time you go to GRA, SNAP, etc., even the Ministry of Communication itself, when you're going to get this 5G, the application, the licensing process, I'm telling you that normally it doesn't take 1 week. I'm telling you that it doesn't take 1 week. It's a whole process when you're applying for these licenses. Yes, sometimes even they have to do the bidding. In the past, 4G, etc., when they came out, they had to invite people. They had to open up the bids. So why would you suddenly give this to this company, a week-old baby? What is it? Is it rocket science? Are you saying there are no other companies that can provide this service? It's obviously a lie.
Well, Mr. Namako, so these are the fundamental questions being asked, not just by.
I just want to be clear. My thoughts to be clear. I mean, Martin, I think you should establish your point. Are we saying that there are companies in Ghana here that could have done this, and then it's been given to just a company that is a week older? I just want to be
absolutely
clear. There are companies.
Absolutely, like yeah, there are a number of companies, and this is not the first time. Look, even the NDC administration those days. I remember there was one time they were bidding rounds. A number of companies came up. And then they were awarded 4G, etc., to roll out. So this industry, this is not the only company. I'm saying that this particular company, this Nigerian name, and this is not the only contract. There are other ones. I have seen contracts. I've dealt with
so beyond this, are you going contracts. To, as civil society, going to take this beyond just advocacy? To if you smell any rat in there, test the law on it based on what you know?
Absolutely. Here is Russell Nelson.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So, these questions border on, for instance, the policy document guiding this exclusive allocation, at least to bring some level of transparency and clarity to this, and what exactly is the makeup of Next Gen Infraco, and what is the representation, to ensure the fair representation of the sector and public interest groups. Are these questions answered in there?
Mr. Ocansey, yes. Let me first of all state that I do not have much details about this particular project.
Okay, right.
Now, I have a difficulty with my former friend, making conclusive statements that this is a cook deal, this is corruption deal, and all sort of things. You see, there is a problem I always have with you when I'm listening to you from my house every Saturday.
Yes.
You come and sit here, you make conclusive statements.
Yes, I've concluded.
Without really giving us the basis for the conclusion that you are making. And I've been honest with you.
I gave you the basis.
A week-old baby. Are you saying
finished setting up?
Are you saying that? Okay. Are you saying that because it's an SPV, so they can't do the work? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you are saying?
You would not even have finished setting up.
The minister
okay, thank
you. You are a lawyer. You are a lawyer. With all respect to you, you are a lawyer.
Yes.
And you should speak as a lawyer.
Mr. Namako, if you could speak to the issue. Speak to the issue.
I'm just to the minister's briefing here.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. I'm delighted and proud to announce a partnership that marks a new era in digital connectivity in Ghana. The government of Ghana, in collaboration with Ascent Digital, KNet, Radisa, Nokia, Tech Mahindra, supported by all mobile network operators in Ghana, starting with AT and Telcel, has launched the next-gen Infraco as NG. So how do you say that it is just one company doing it? He told the democrats are involved in the project. It's not one company doing it.
She lied.
A very preamble.
No, don't worry.
Well, if she lied, you see, if she lied, as you were saying, she lied. I think there are processes and procedures to go through to establish that what the minister is saying is indeed not what it is. But for me,
respectfully, please. Let's you speak to the issue. Just no. Yes, it's okay.
No worry.
He still remains your friend. Let's speak to the issues. Yes, indeed.
We'll go to church tomorrow.
You go to church together.
Yeah.
I see.
Oh well, yeah, we are both Catholics.
Anyway.
So you go on.
you see.
Okay.
You see, Martin. There's something I want to draw attention to. Which was how you represented yourself all the way from Akwafu Hall when you became a lawyer and all that. The people know you, but now you have deviated from that principles, and now you are
I want you to speak to the issue. Let's not digress and talk about Martin Kpebu is not the subject.
For me, I'm very honest with you. I'm only saying what the minister is saying. You are saying it's a lie, it's not true. I'm telling you, I don't have much information about it.
Okay.
And I'll leave it here.
Right. Okay. As we are all asking questions to get some more information about it, that's fundamental. At least based on what she said, is what we're asking the questions on. Professor Jampo.
Well, I think I would also need further and better particulars about this. Generally, if we are talking about the lack of transparency in awarding this contract, then I would want to follow that kind of argument. But let us be careful. We cannot always say that the company is too young and can't do certain things. It means if we do that, then it means we are always saying we cannot be ingenious, we cannot be innovative. And so the idea that it is too young, for me, must be, if we want to go that route, then we must explain more. And then the other bit is, if the company had no or has no expertise in that area,
about track record.
Then it means it may not be able to do anything in that area. But again, history shows that, and we have a lot of evidence to show, that there has been several companies and bodies that went into areas that they completely knew nothing about, yet they've been able to make giant strides in that area. If you talk about Osei Kwame, despite in Ghana, there are so many things that he's doing now that he never had expertise in those areas. This is not to hold brief for anybody. My point is I don't have much information about this particular deal, and where I would side with critics would be in the area of lack of transparency in its award. If it is established that there wasn't much transparency in that award, then I think that is where I would want to put all my strength there in because I mean Ghana belongs to all of us, and so it is important that some of these major initiatives and major awards, we do them such that everybody would see things for themselves, so you would escape the charges of being opaque and being less transparent in such moves. So I think maybe as events unfold, as we get better further particulars, we'll be able to comment extensively.
In fact, and you're not wrong on this, because one of the fundamental issues that was raised is the process for inclusion by the others, which has not been transparent enough. And why the NCA did not write to all authorized license holders to participate in the process. and why the exclusivity to the select few. So that question about the process itself is essential.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, if we want to highlight that, that's what I'm saying. I was expecting Martin to highlight more about the lack of transparency bit, the process of even selecting. Why did you select company A, company B, company B, and but a bit about companies not having expertise and not being able to do things. I mean, if you look at our evolution as human beings, if you look at the history of our development and all that, you would see that there are several companies that had no knowledge about areas they ventured into, and yet they became successful because they wanted to be ingenious and all that. So let us rather look at what really matters, about this contract and then expose and discuss rather than for me.
But I mentioned the bidding process that even in the past, years ago, more than 8 years ago.
So I think it speaks to a lack of transparency. It speaks to lack of transparency that maybe it was not so open enough for others to. And I mean, that one. In the lead up to election 2024 and all that, I think that there's been one too many of some of these accusations, and government appointees and officials, I think, must learn to cover their butts a little. And if you had to be transparent, if the bidding process had to be done in such a way that people would see, I mean, why didn't we do that? And so why the opacity, and why are we opening ourselves for such critiques on matters that we could have simply avoided? Okay, so I think it's becoming one too many, and I think it's not.
So you join in that call for the demand of at least the policy document guiding this allocation.
I mean, we have the right to know. 5G would benefit all of us, and so if people who have knowledge about it, people who have the technical know-how about it, would want to be given the opportunity to scrutinize. As for me, I don't know. All that I know is that my phone is going to be 5G or 4G or whatever. But there are people who may have technical expertise and knowledge about it, who may want to scrutinize the whole deal, the whole process. And I think they shouldn't be denying that right to do so on our behalf.
And in fact, that bit about not knowing much about this, you are not alone, Mr. Amako, and as well, Professor Jampo, you're not alone in this. Even the Vice Chair of the Communications Committee of Parliament, that has the direct responsibility of doing that work of scrutiny for and on behalf of all of us, is saying that the committee didn't have the details as the minister put out on Thursday. So I wanted to take a listen to Sylvester Tete, who spoke to my colleague Biti Sedu on Thursday evening on 3FM, specifically about this and whether the Communications Committee of Parliament was fully briefed about the full details of this contract as was announced by the minister on Thursday. Take a look.
My position from the beginning was that we are aware of the process, but the details as it is now, the committee has not been briefed. And I think that when we reconvene, Parliament will be duly briefed. That is my position. The Communications Committee of Parliament is going to take this thing up when you reconvene or you resume. That's what you're saying. We will summon the minister for proper briefing to Parliament, as we've always done.
Well, so that's it. So they've not been properly briefed. They would summon the minister to Parliament when Parliament reconvenes.
Yeah, so for me,
to answer
that is
some questions on this matter.
Yes, so they bring some clarity onto the matter for everybody to understand. But you see, you cannot say that because you don't have information, the deal is cooked. The deal is corruption. That's my difficulty with Martin.
Okay,
One can for the information. There are SPVs which are always created.
Oh. Stop.
Okay, gentlemen.
You don't know as a matter of fact that in law You create SPVs to do businesses. You don't do.
You've made your points clear. Okay, thank you.
Now, vehicles.
Yes, what I mean is that we are talking about a company that's been barely created.
But that
No track record. There are other companies in Ghana that also have the ability.
What's SPV?
You give it to this singular company.
Gentlemen, your points have been well made. Now I need to move on. I need to move on. Thank you.
It can be a partnership. It can be a company,
thank you very much.
Etc. It can even be just an agreement. So when you say SPV, you think you've said anything.
Thank you. Let me bring it. Nelson Roxon.
Have you seen the details of Nokia on the company document?
They are there.
Have you seen Nokia in the company document?
No, but gentlemen, on the bit about information, yes. On the bit about information, that is what even the Communications Committee of Parliament is saying, that they have not even been fully briefed. But so that's even a concern in itself.
Yes.
Right, and we should all be asking those questions about clarity. You in Parliament, at least the indication was that you had an idea of this, but not the full details of it. What are the sticky points in this issue?
No, thank you very much. Indeed, I'm in Parliament, but I am not a member of the Communications Committee, so I have no idea at all. Now, I was also shocked by the content of the statement put out by the minister on the 11th of May this year. And if you read the content of the statement, it should scandalize every economic-minded person. Why? The minister is telling us that the government has, by a deliberate policy, breaking MTN's monopoly. And then you proceed to create another monopoly. How do you break a monopoly by creating another monopoly? It's contained in the statement. And let me read. Paragraph 1, line 3. It will be provided exclusively to a local carrier, neutral open access technology company, to build a nationwide mobile broadband network for the use of all network providers and interested entities. Now, if you go to paragraph 4, Next Gen Franco will be a wholesale. This is too small. If we can put, we can put that.
Yes, let's put the Communications Ministry statement.
Yeah, paragraph 4
on the screen. Well, we'll just put that on the screen and we'll read. But while we do that, no, that's the Communications Ministry statement. Is it? I know that.
Yes.
Is this
now
one?
Paragraph 4.
Paragraph 4.
Next Gen Infraco
will be a wholesale open
access mobile network company offering a 4G and 5G services on
a commercial basis.
On a commercial basis as a shared infrastructure for
mobile network
operators.
Internet service providers.
Exactly. You are giving the wholesale right to Infraco so that the mobile network operators will be retailing from Infraco. And this cannot be. This ought to be auctioned. They don't have look, the ministry hasn't got the power to make this decision. This is an economic resource. It's a natural resource, it's an economic resource. It must be properly auctioned so that entities that are capable and have the requisite technology and expertise will bid. And whoever wins the bid will roll out this infrastructure for us. And let me tell you why I think the minister didn't speak the truth when she put out this statement and said KNet and all are on board. If you look at the address of the company, it's the same address that the integrated legal consultants use. The same address. There's no variation, the same address. Now, what is interesting about Next Gen Infraco is that the directors are listed as Tenu Awuno, Amina Mena, Olusola Ogundimo. These are also directors of integrated legal consultants. The auditors of the company is listed as Transform Consult. If you check the New Companies Act, I'm looking for the consent form signed by Transform Consult as auditor. It's because it become a requirement. The company secretary to Next Gen Infraco is Integrated Legal Consultant, represented by Adeteju Ajimotolakan, also a member of Integrated Legal Consultants.
A law firm.
A law firm.
Specific.
A law firm. The same law firm. According to the registration details, they have issued 1 million shares.
Yes.
This is the shareholding structure of Next Gen Infraco. Integrated Legal Consultants, they hold 396,000 issued shares, for which they will pay cash for. KNet Limited holds 50,000 shares out of the 1 million. Ascent Digital holds 550,000 shares, for which they will pay cash for. Tenu Awuno, who is a director, owes 1,000 shares out of the 1 million shares. Amina Mena, who is also a director, also owes 2,500 shares. The revenue that the company envisaged to earn is 10,000 Ghana cedis. 10,000 Ghana cedis. I am not saying it. They stated it.
Yeah, it's on
that from their operations in the first year, they envisaged a revenue of 10,000 Ghana cedis. Yes. Yeah. You are required to state that if in your first year of operations, the number of employees that you envisage to employ in your first year of operations, 4. This is a company that we have given in excess of $1 billion economic resource to. There's no backbone. There's no foothold. They have nothing. This is a company on paper. And Doc, I think that I agree with you that sometimes we must go easy on some of these things. But this one, because you and I, we have spoken about some other one. But this one, we have to look into it. We have decided, and if you read the minister's statement, I think in paragraph 2, she stated the reason. So they have created this. It's a deliberate creation, just to break MTN's monopoly. I don't work for MTN. I have nothing related to MTN except that I have a line with them. But the government cannot do this. Let the private entities compete amongst themselves.
No, but so if you break an MTN's monopoly,
yes,
doesn't it inure to our benefit? I just want to know.
That's exactly
because
my point.
I think that sometimes they quote and unquote misbehave, knowing that some of us are glued to the network and they just want to.
Is the NCA capable of handling this? Okay. NCA as an entity, as a statutory body, is the NCA capable of doing this job? Why must we create a phantom company and siphon this to them and list them as a wholesale company so that they'll be retailing to the MNOs? So there's everything thinking about this deal, and I'm going to challenge the validity in the Supreme Court.
You are going to the Supreme Court?
Yes, it breaches the Constitution. You can't create a monopoly by creating another monopoly. This offends the Constitution. You are depriving other Ghanaian companies the opportunity to participate in this economic process. That's what it means. That's a breach.
You can't break a monopoly by creating a monopoly.
You can't do that.
So that's what you're going to test the law.
That's what I'm going to test. And I'm testing it based on the constitutional provisions. You see, we must be. You could have.
You don't think you must get more information on this deal before?
Yeah, but I'm declaring my intention.
You are declaring intention even without more information.
But I have the information I've given you. Is it not sufficient?
So hold on.
I've given you sufficient information.
So let's establish this.
That this is a company that is merely on paper.
Okay.
Anyway,
so it's on that grounds that you are testing the law.
Yes, because I've discovered that this is an empty company. This is a shell. This is a shell. It's incapable of delivering on this mandate.
Empty shell.
Okay.
Empty shell. It's incapable of delivering on the mandate. And directors have been giving 1,000 shares out of 1,000,000.
You drink some water. Drink some water.
I've sipped some. So this matter, it's such another scandal. And I'm more scandalized by the comfort and the audacity of the minister to tell us that he's glad to inform us. He's happy to inform us as a nation that she's done this. By a deliberate policy, she's creating a monopoly. She won't auction this. She won't auction it. We'll compel her to auction.
So you're going to the Supreme Court to challenge
the validity of the transaction. Yes. It must be subject to our procurement laws. In consonance with the Constitution, it must be subject to our procurement. This is our economic resource. It cannot be. This is not even sole sourcing. It doesn't even qualify for a sole sourcing. It doesn't even meet the criteria. No single sourcing. Just gifting like Martin said, a baby.
A 1-week-old baby. Can barely
a baby with such an powerful
court jurisdiction in this particular matter.
Why?
Don't worry,
Leave it to me.
How are you going to put the court jurisdiction in particular matter?
Why? Are you the judge? Are you sitting on the Supreme Court?
Okay.
So I'm saying leave that to me.
How are you going to do it?
But I've pointed the constitutional provision to you that it breaches the economic rights of other existing Ghanaian entities. Other economic entities in Ghana capable.
Okay.
I mean, say you're going to the Supreme Court, so you go.
So, the Honorable Nasser said, when are you instituting this process?
You know, when I'm aggrieved, I don't take cutlass and peer.
Okay.
You know where I go. We'll litigate this matter. We'll leave it lying there.
Is this going to be anytime soon?
Yes. Because I seek to injunct the process. You know, the process is not completed. We need to injunct it.
You are going to injunct the process?
It has to be halted. We can't allow this to pass unchecked.
And your lawyer is Martin, I guess.
We'll talk.
Gentlemen, thank you.
I have a lawyer, but Martin can.
While we wait.
Oh, you can also be my lawyer, Gary.
Hey, they were sacking.
No, gentlemen, thank you. Thank you. While we wait.
Sometimes when he's in distress, sometimes he can call me and I can also stand for him.
Somebody just texted breaking MTN's monopoly is clearly stated in the Japadia deal. Somebody just texted.
It's in the statement.
But I agree with you that you do not break a monopoly by creating a monopoly. That one,
you don't do that.
It's a no-no. And so, officials of state, I think, like I said, it's becoming one too many.
Let me explain. How did they build a monopoly? By creating a monopoly.
Read their own statement.
You make reference to a particular part of the statement. That aspect of the statement from the Communications Ministry.
Yeah.
No, where exactly in that statement?
Read paragraph 3.
Paragraph 3.
Yeah. Yes.
If you have it, we'll put the paragraph 3.
Yes, paragraph 3
on the screen so that we can all
because if you say monopoly,
yes, let's see.
Are you kicking out MTN?
Go to paragraph 2. His Excellency the President granted executive approval on 22nd August 2023 for the introduction of 5G through the establishment of a neutral wireless open access network to promote a vibrant telecom market in Ghana, further to a report presented to the president earlier that year. Approval had also been granted on 21st February 2022 for the restructuring of the telecom market to reduce the dominance of one operator and progressively work toward the lowering of data charges for subscribers.
Well, so then there isn't, clearly then there isn't.
Why?
If you are reducing dominance,
but what is dominance?
But reducing, you can reduce it. It means they would also be allowed.
I have other documents that she referenced. She referenced MTN.
Let me chip in this. You see,
round up quickly.
Yeah, just round up. Yes. You see, currently on the market, MTN is a dominant market. I mean, in terms of the voice and the data, they are the dominant market. Now, you recollect that some time ago, I think somewhere about 2-3 years ago, there was a restructuring in the sector, which sought to more or less.
That is what she referenced. Restructuring.
Please. Oh, no, betray.
No, don't say that sometime because she referenced it.
You see, just to ensure, because you see, it's a national security risk to have one company having total dominance on the market. Now, if, for instance, this company switches off just in a day, about 80% of the market share is gone. It is gone. But you see, because MTN also did very well by investing in the telecom sector, building more infrastructure and everything.
You don't blame them for that.
You don't blame them for that. You see, but there has to be.
But you sold Ghana Telecom to Vodafone for purposes of expansion. What have you done with it?
Yeah, but
you've sold it again to Telecel.
You see, there was a
and you are sitting here, you are crying.
There was a deliberate,
okay.
There's a deliberate policy by MTN, all right, you know, to make sure that they build infrastructure.
They're improving on service quality.
Yes, you see, but as it stands now, they are the dominant market share in the country.
So you must break
which is no fault of theirs.
It's not fault of theirs, but you see, it's also a national security consideration.
Okay.
Because if for some reason they say they are off the market, we are in trouble.
We had Zain.
Especially so.
What did you do with Zain?
Especially so when we are, you see, look, for me, I have made the point very clear. Let us all go seek information on the matter. To me, if you don't get information on the matter,
I have information. You appear not to have it.
It's very scanty.
It's not scanty.
It's not enough.
It's not scanty.
In the same way,
you claim you don't have information. Why are you speaking?
As he indicated, I started attributing some negativity to the whole thing.
Why?
I want to go with Professor Tempo. Let's just take our time and go into it.
I see.
You go look for information.
Well, thank you. And the Honorable Nelson Ross, the family court says he has enough information to even want to form the basis to test the law on this contract and seek to injunct the process even before it is completed. He's going to the Supreme Court on this next-gen Infraco 5G contract, and it's one that we would follow quite closely as well. When the process will start to injunct this deal, we would get into it. Yes,
I'm saying that maybe to conclude on this particular issue, I would say I will favor every move to break the monopoly of any mobile telephony network in Ghana. But in so doing, let us use a very open, transparent process that would satisfy all of us and will not give room for the suspicion or the feeling that something untoward, something corrupt, has been done.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's some 7 minutes after 8. This is Key Point on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and DSTV channel 279. All across the world on 3news.com.
Just a final point.
30 seconds. Yes, please.
If you read her paragraph 4, she makes the point that government retains 7.5% equity, with 30% equity that's been reserved for the existing mobile network operators. Why is the resolution to that? Which a company that is barely a year, it's not even a year old. But there's no undertaking, there's no understanding with the MNOs, and you are giving assurance and giving indicating percentages.
You seek information.
Okay.
You don't have information.
Well, at least there's indication that she would be summoned before Parliament to answer some more questions on this. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we'll be following this intention you have declared here this morning about injuncting this process.
Are you giving him to find the process of the Supreme Court?
Oh. Well, it is.
Well, he has more information.
Yes.
Some people need to go to court.
He has the liberty.
And I have talked about jurisdiction in the Supreme Court.
So let's see.
You see,
when the process starts,
he can invoke the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court.
When the process
because
starts,
it's very limited jurisdiction.
Well, when the process starts.
So that's what I'm saying. How many days are you giving him to file?
The Supreme Court jurisdiction, you and I were in law school together. You know the Supreme Court jurisdiction is wide.
How many days are you give it to go and file? So that we can start counting from today?
No, you can't count.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. That lawyer leads us to our next issue. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
The lack of information about this deal has quietened Martin today.
Okay.
Very quiet. There isn't much information.
Let's see.
I will not allow him. Spewing things on the network when there's no information.
8 minutes after 8. Thank you very much.
I'm sitting next to him.
I'll provide him copies.
Thank you very much. We would wait to see how this plays out in court. If Nelson Roxanne Dafiam report does carry out this indication. Talking about the issues of court, this week, the NDC put out a recording in furtherance to the previous week's position that they took, that indeed they had evidence against the Attorney General seeking to have the third accused, Richard Jakba, put up a testimony that would implicate the first accused in ways that have been described as questionable and unethical. Now, wanted to take a look at first of all, the NDC's press conference addressed by the national chairman of the party, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, within the week. He showed the ambulances that were imported and the state in which these ambulances were in, and then also the medical equipment that were imported afterwards, indicating that they are actually still at the port, not cleared for whatever reason. Take a look.
The year 2015. So at this stage, on the screen are pictures of the exterior and interior of the ambulances as they arrived in the country. The empty trottoir. These are the interior pictures of the empty trottoirs. It is clear from these pictures that the ambulances that were procured were not empty vans as claimed by dishonest Godfrey Odami and the MPP. I'm always ashamed because this is my brother from the same Wenchi district. In addition, a container load of medical equipment to be installed in these ambulances were shipped by Dixie and arrived in the country around the end of 2016. Sadly, this medical equipment have been sitting at the Tema port for the last 8 years because this government, specifically the Minister of Health, which is the consignee, has refused to clear them, just so they can falsely claim that there were no equipment.
Expectation has loomed large over the shoulders of the opposition party following the announcement they had intercepted evidence against the Attorney General, Godfred Dame, who, upon witness statement of the third accused in the ambulance purchase trial, was engaged in witness tampering to implicate the minority leader, Ato Forson. Even before the national chair would lay bare their facts, the party questioned the government's true intent in prosecuting the minority leader, insisting it was a move to gag him.
We firmly believe that the decision to take the minority leader and some others to court over this matter was born out of malicious, sinister, and wicked desire to silence him through unjust imprisonment, nothing more, nothing less. As we publicly stated from the very onset of this case, the timing and circumstances of this so-called prosecution shows that it was instituted mainly to intimidate and silence the then-ranking member of Finance.
For the NDC, the actions of Godfred Dame in the audio tape shared with the media was engaged in a...
So that's the NDC press conference this week. The audio that was played in its raw form, we would got some transcriptions as well. We will put out on the screen shortly. But right after that press conference, the NPP also addressed the press a number of things, indicating Henry Nana Boakye says, well, this was doctored and that there's an original of 26 minutes. And then also you had a number of persons suggesting that this is indeed a doctored tape. So is that to suggest that there is an original that we don't know about, that the NPP has? This is the NPP also at a press conference right after the press conference of the NDC on the same day. Take a look.
The NDC have since last week set in motion a malicious scheme fueled by lies, falsehoods, misrepresentations, blackmail, and needless pollution of the mass media, with the sole intention of obstructing the course of justice and scandalizing the criminal proceedings in the High Court, all in the bid to shield Ato Forson MP, minority leader in Parliament, and former Deputy Minister of Finance, and his associates from taking responsibility for authorizing some payments which resulted in a whopping sum of 3.27 million euros lost by the state, monies that belong to us all as Ghanaians. It is no secret that the NDC ever since the commencement of Ato Forson's prosecution has threatened rain and storm against government, the Attorney General, and any person they can find to cajole the Attorney General from discontinuing the prosecution. What?
Well, Frank Davis, who addressed the press conference, lawyer Frank Davis, who addressed the press conference by the NPP after Henry Nana Boakye spoke as well, the national organizer of the NPP. Well, the NDC put out some WhatsApp messages, screenshots, reported to be between Godfred Dame, Attorney General, and Richard Jakba, the third accused, and the businessman representing Big C in this entire transaction. Now take a look at this. Tuesday, 9th of April, there was a voice call, and then it continues. But we go back to the 23rd of November. Says, bro, the case is adjourned to next week, Thursday. The man is still on admission, fighting for his dear life. That is in the second accused. And the person now replies, okay, thanks. Let's go to the next one. This is 17th of July, 2022. You see the Big C letters forwarded to the contact purported to be Godfrey Yeboah-Dame. Same document, 17th of July 2022. And then it goes on the 16th of February 2022, says, hope to hear favorably from you. A message purported to be from Richard Jakpa. Then there's a reply, I will arrange through your brother. Then there's another message, says, I'm requesting for a time and venue at your convenience to meet you for a private discussion, please. I'm most grateful for that kind gesture from you. Hope to hear favorably from you, sir. This is a message that's purported to be from Richard Jakpa to the Attorney General. In fact, after this, then a number of developments have taken place with Richard Jakpa now through his lawyers writing that the case should be struck out, all the charges struck out. The Attorney General is challenging this. We'll come to that. But let's start off with this recording that was played this week. Then all throughout the period, I mean, there hasn't been any denial that a conversation took place between the two persons in question. That's the third accused and the Attorney General on phone. That has not been disputed, right?
Thank you, Mr. Ocansey. I think that we must approach this particular matter with a lot of sober heads. A lot of sober heads. Well, whether there has been a denial or not, I have not heard. I have not heard that the tape has been authenticated by anybody. I have not heard it came from only one side. Now, what is that we are dealing with?
You're saying that the tape was doctored.
I'm saying that the tape, as far as I'm concerned, has not been authenticated by anyone. Only from one side that has been thrown in the air.
Your party said that it's been doctored.
Yes, that is what they are saying. Now, let's approach this case. Listen to me carefully. What has brought us here is a case pending before a criminal court over an alleged causing financial loss to the state. We are told of some attempts or some overtures, or what you call a plea bargain. That plea bargain, we are told, along the line, wasn't acceptable by the Attorney General, and so therefore it failed. There were still continued overtures while the matter was still pending in court. We are aware, as far as the record is concerned, that the prosecution have closed their case. They have closed their case. And closing the case simply means that they've tendered all the exhibits and evidence that they want to tender in before the judge. And then there was a submission of no case, which was filed by the accused person and their lawyers. The court ruled upon the submission of no case and then said, there's a case for you to answer. One chapter is gone. At that stage, the burden now shifts upon the accused persons to now put a challenge to say that, well, in our view, even though you have made your case at the prima facie level, we think that we are still not liable. The first accused person, Mr. Honorable Keze Latofosin, has also entered the dock, proffered his defense, tender whatever he will tender, and close his case. The second accused person, we are told that they entered another prosecution against that person. So therefore, the third accused person now is in the dock. He's now giving his testimony. We all know, as practitioners, that until those times when we go to court, you don't have benefit of what anybody is going to say. Now we all know. You file your documents, you exchange documents, you exchange all the exhibits, and then all parties know what every party is going to say ahead of time. Ahead of time, we all have the documents. Now, while the third accused person is in the dock, we are told there was an interjection by the Attorney General, and then he said he got upset and then said they are sending information or whatever it is that they've been meeting or whatever to contract evidence or whatever it is, and so he's going to put that information out there. The question I asked myself at the very beginning, this particular tape, which was recorded by Japa, quote or non-quote, if in his view, on the review of the lawyers, they felt that there was information there that would have helped or aided this case. Why did they not put that tape as part of their evidence in chief? Because in any event, at the time when it was in the dock, this supposed tape we are talking about was in existence. The tape that Japa recorded Attorney General, so to speak, or quote unquote, whether it is, I say, unauthenticated tape, it was there. If in his view, he really believed that this tape will aid in his case, why did he not put this as part of his exhibits for the court to admit or not admit, and for the court to interrogate? And now, here we are confronted with an alleged supposed recorded tape by Japa, okay, put in the public domain to sway all of us into the real core issues before the court. Then the public now follow the matter and say, well, it's probably it's persecution. It's not persecution. How is it persecution, not persecution? If indeed, in your view, the tape that you have recorded the person unknowingly, if indeed that tape it really exists, or that in plain public domain, why is it not part of your record before the court?
Have you listened to the tape?
I've listened to the tape.
Does it concern you? No?
All you hear, why not?
It concerns you?
Why not? Why not? Why not? It concerns me. All you hear is somebody talking. You don't even hear how the communication being started. Whether good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, you don't even hear anything. All you hear in the middle of a conversation, you hear somebody talking, and then you hear repetitions, and then it is paused. The secretary now comes in, hold on, wait, and then gives a voice over to explain to us. Why do you explain to us? I mean, let the natural thing flow. Let us all make an informed decision out of the tape. Okay? Now, why do you have to explain the tape to us? We don't have brains to understand what the tape is talking about.
What?
And then wait. And then they say, oh, the Attorney General was fortifying or no, was telling him how to what? Give his evidence. Or, yes. Where on the tape do you find that, Professor Jampo? What do you find on the tape? You see, so I said, let's follow this particular matter with sober heads. What you listen to the tape carefully, what you hear is that there's a disagreement about Elsie. It's about Elsie. It's a disagreement about Elsie. You don't hear the Attorney General saying that, go and say this and go and say that and go and say that and go and say that. You don't hear that. You hear it. No. How do you hear that info? Please. Let me flow. You will flow. Let me flow. Now, what to me is intriguing and baffling is that now the core issues before the court. I want to establish something.
If you say you have listened to the tape,
yes,
you've listened to the full complement of the tape.
No, the tape as put out by the NDC, which is supposed to be a conversation between the AG, an honorable AG, and Mr. Japa. Now the question I want to find out from all of us: what was the intention of Japa by recording that communication? If indeed that's the truth of the tape, what was the intention? To record me, Jampo has called me, or I've called Professor Jampo, and we are talking, and he records my communication. What is the intent? To do what with the tape? To do what with the tape? To record. See, so because you have tried a plea bargain and it's not failing, and you say the person is a difficult person. He's a difficult person. He's not listening to you by agreeing to the plea bargain, ostensibly because why? They wanted to pay 2 million euros, okay, by the supplier. And then the case is discontinued. And they said, no, the person who won't pay the 2 million euro is not a party in the case. And we all know a plea bargain is a party in the case without a plea bargain agreement. Now, if you're not a party in the case and say you will pay $2 million and the case is discontinued, and the Matato Force is not willing to enter a guilty plea, so we just discontinue the case because what? What if the money is not paid in a final analysis? What if? What if the money is not paid in the final analysis? So the question, you see, I'm saying that what they are doing here is diversionary tactics. Look, let the public not be swayed by this. There are germane issues before the court, whether or not somebody's act or omission has caused financial loss to the state. That to me is what we should focus on. That means if you think that the AG has engaged itself in any matter what you think is worth probing, it's a different matter altogether.
But you say that you've listened to the tape. The content of the tape concerns you. It raises concern for you. To the extent that until a certain allegation was made against Richard Jakpa, that he is putting out statement in court ostensibly to try and defend the first accused. That was what triggered all of this. You remember what happened in court last week, Thursday?
You see,
that is what triggered all of this. Then a tape recording, in fact, a conversation, not a tape recording, a phone conversation that was recorded is put out, and you say that you have listened. I keep going back to I keep going back to the fact that if you've listened, because there are two positions there. Your party says that the tape is doctored, but they have a 26. You have a 26 minutes original tape. You haven't put that out. So we have no way of believing that narrative that the tape is doctored, because you haven't put out anything to the contrary. I want to find out which one of them you listen to.
No, wait a minute. Mr. Ocansey, which communication do you listen that all you hear is that somebody is talking? Which communication do you listen that all you hear is that there are voiceovers and the repetition of the same communication? Look, so if I call you, or you call me, you will not even greet me. So the communication starts in the middle. You hear it in the middle of the discussion. Nothing starts from the beginning. How the whole thing started, it's taken away. Look, at the time when Mr. Japa was in the dock, if indeed this communication, from what I understand, is going on, it means the communication was there already. It means it was there already. Now, if he thought with his lawyers that this communication will aid in his case, why did he not file this as part of his witness statement to tender in evidence? And we are all aware, as lawyers, that communication is privilege. And the Constitution is protected under the Constitution. You cannot request somebody communication without a person's knowledge. You can't.
No, but if there is crime, public safety, etc., you can record.
So where is the crime here now?
The Attorney General suborning the witness.
How did he suborn the witness?
He said he didn't even understand the site LC. The witness explained to him. They said, no, you answer it this way for me.
He didn't say that.
He said it.
He didn't say that.
He said
the theory. You see, Martin.
No, that's what I'm asking. If you actually listen to the full complement of the tape. Have you listened to the tape?
I am saying, I've said
that's politics, not law.
But can you recall somebody without person's knowledge?
Yes, when there is crime. When there is public safety.
Why is the crime?
Gentlemen.
Why was the crime here?
What is your evidence?
Gentlemen.
Why the crime here?
The crime.
Section 2. When you saw somebody in the case of Kukubaji,
hold on.
Tabo case, and then Conclude.
Yes.
Call somebody with a thinking of when to use this for evidence.
Yes.
What put in the dock?
Kukubaji, they said you can
I am saying that go and talk. Why don't you go?
Wait.
See, Martin,
you conclude on me.
Go and attempt to tender the this in evidence and see whether it is admissible.
Yes. So that is the we'll go there. The Supreme Court said case by case.
Martin,
well, thank you.
Why are you not the one to go and be the lawyer for Mr. Japa? Go and be his lawyer.
Yes, I'll do that for you.
And go and find an additional document and tender. Let us see. Look, listen. Mr. Ocansey, I am saying that let us not be diverted as a country. Now, our attention is moving away from the real issues before the court. Whether or not somebody, by his action or deed or whatever, has caused a loss to the state. We are not looking at that. We are now looking at diversion tactics. What is happening here is, to me,
professional misconduct is also offense.
Yeah. Professional misconduct is it tried in the media? Is it tried in the media?
Well, causing financial loss to
is it tried in the media?
Tried in the media.
Mr. Namako, thank you.
Please, Mr. Ocansey, let us not divert attention. Professor Jambo, the real issues before the court is whether or not somebody's act or omission has occasioned the state a financial loss, which the court is trying it. You see, this so-called tape and this and that and whatever they are saying, it will divert the attention of the court. Now, all this particular money we are talking here about, it is not part of the record of the court. Mr. Ocansey, what is happening in the public domain by NDC press conference is not part of the record of the court.
But would the court be minded to take this into consideration going forward?
Why should the court be minded? That the court will sit in the courtroom and be looking at what is happening in the media and be making as part of the evidence before the court to rule on it?
Well, now Richard Jakpa, as you do know, has, through his lawyers, written to the courts to strike out the charges against him based on the details as put out in this tape. So it is of concern and consideration to the courts.
And are you aware whether they added the so-called tape with the affidavit. Are you aware?
But now,
No,
see,
but
I think
hold on.
Currently he is now saying that he wants to prove that, I think, there's evidence to show that the president and Furiata who actually put pressure that forcing should be tried, and that he wants to be.
Professor,
he wants to offer evidence.
Professor,
he wants to be given the opportunity to.
So you know what we'll do. At the stage when, by way of procedure and partisan procedure, the submission of law case has failed. Okay, A1, as a forcing has entered the dock, mounted his evidence, close his case. You are also to also open your defense, and you are already in the dock, and you are saying that what? Somebody put pressure on somebody to prosecute you. What is the evidence?
He said he wants to.
So if that evidence should be part of a witness statement which he ought to file as a supplementary document, okay, to prove his case. Now look, for me, okay, it's not going by affidavit. Not by affidavit. You must file a supplementary witness statement to put those documents in evidence. To let the court know that yes, because of A, B, C, D, E, that is why you are saying this. But not by affidavit. Not by affidavit.
Let's put the transcriptions in part of the. No, I'll come to you. Let's also acknowledge the presence of Professor Kojo Apieje. He's an associate professor of law at the University of Ghana Law School as well, joining us on this matter. Look at the various aspects of this conversation. Alfred Dame, on this tape, the Attorney General reportedly had saying, in my view, if we agree with the way I want to go about it, there will be no issues for you. Then the voice of Richard Jakpa on this tape is her saying, if I go by your way, frankly speaking, I will be dishonest. Now, this is it. And this is captured on the tape. Let's go on to the next. I know this is completely innocent about this. For example, I took forcing to be jailed because I knew something was wrong. Was not the way, and I decided to keep quiet and answer the question in a way for you to jail him. Continues. The contract is for 200 ambulances in tranches of 50-50-50-50. Then the voice purported to be that of the Attorney General response. Hold on. So that contract of 50 ambulances is different from this one?
So now you see how I was telling you that that was when you wanted to get the clarity on the matter.
So the contract is one contract for 200 ambulances, which has been broken down. For every 50 tranche, you establish a letter of credit for every 50 tranche. So you have 4 letters of credit for the 200 ambulances. So the Attorney General didn't know this. Attorney General doesn't know how the LCs operate in this particular instance.
Let me tell you something.
So then, I'll conclude, and then you come. Okay. Let's see the next. You are not the Minister of Health. You are not the Minister of Finance. Attorney General purportedly had on the tape. Then, Jakpa. The problem I have is accepting that for you is that in their letters that confirm that both from government and from the principal, that is for every 50 ambulances. That confirms that, and now I will be tendering those letters in, so I cannot go against what the letters say. So it is in those, if you see the earlier WhatsApp screenshots, some letters were forwarded to the contact purported to be that of the Attorney General. So you don't see anything wrong in everything that's happened? Mr. Demako?
Yes. Gleaning from what you just put out there.
Which one of them?
All that you put out there. You will see. If you play the actual tape yourself, if you will hear that Mr. Jakpa kept going on and on and on and on and on and speaking on and on, and the AG kept quiet and listening. So I'm saying they were disagreeing on the issue of the LC. On the issue of the LC, there was disagreement. And you see, let's not make this mistake. And my very good brother, Roxin Defiamapo, he will agree with me that sometimes you are approaching the case, but I'm telling you, you may not have the full facts of the matter. Because the brief may not be with you. Listen. I disagree with you. Oh, you agree with me? Why? Why? Attorney General has the benefit of all the dockets in the AG office.
Yes.
All the dockets.
Yes.
Oh, please.
Those that he says.
Does he prosecute all the cases?
Those that he says with.
Okay. You see, the bottom line that I want to make, let me be clear here, is that all these issues about contriving evidence and all those things is not reflected on the tape that we have listened.
Well, let me acknowledge the President, Professor Appiagyei Atua, Kojo Appiagyei Atua. And I'll come to you, but Prof, appreciate your time. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here on Key Point. You have also listened to at least the tape that was put out earlier this week. That recording of a conversation between the Attorney General and Richard Jakpa. Would you describe what you heard as mere allegations that have really no consequence, as the Deputy AG and by extension what Mr. Nemako is saying this morning?
I don't think so. I think before the recording came out, things were hanging in the air somewhat because there wasn't much information to come to some conclusions. But with the release of the tape and the fact that it has not been denied that this is the voice of the AG, it helps to put some pieces together for us to come to some conclusions that something untoward has happened coming from the AG, and which therefore, as has been mentioned, it brings the name and the office of the Attorney General into disrepute.
I say, you say something untoward has happened, but so it just goes beyond the normal politicking for you. And the content of the tape, from your legal perspective, raises some major concerns.
It raises concerns, certainly, and it doesn't seem to be something that is typically what an Attorney General should do. So it puts the name of the office in a very bad shape. And the image, the message it sends out is that the office is being corrupted. And therefore, it's a great source of worry and concern for the delivery of criminal justice in the country. Not only criminal justice, but justice delivery generally. Because the Attorney General's office is a very high office that is supposed to ensure justice, the delivery of justice in the country. It connects with the General Legal Counsel, it connects with the Judicial Service, it connects with Legal Aid Commission, it connects with the delivery of law reforms and so on. So he occupies a very high position, and the delivery of justice is something that is recognized as a right in the Constitution for citizens of Ghana and even residents of Ghana. And so the information that is coming out from what the Attorney General said in the tape is worrying, because it violates the ethics of the profession, and it is clearly stated in the legal profession ethics that there are certain responsibilities placed on lawyers, whether acting as counsel for the accused person, for a defendant, and as a prosecutor. You are not supposed to influence tampering of information. You are not supposed to advise a party in the suit to engage in perjury. And you are not supposed to suggest to another person to give evidence that will incriminate somebody, which is false witnessing to be able to find somebody guilty and to try to describe that as plea bargaining. No, it is not. So certainly the name of the Attorney General's office has been dragged in the mud, and it's something that should be of concern to all of us who are in the legal fraternity. And under a normal circumstance, the Ghana Bar Association should even have issued a statement. So this is something that should be taken very seriously, and it should not be left lying down. He's saying that the third accused should go and lie because the person hasn't reported that he's sick or hasn't indicated that he's sick. And it's interesting that the third accused was rather educating the Attorney General that, no, do you want me to do this? It will constitute, it may lead to the court issuing a bench warrant against me. So that tells you that what the Attorney General was suggesting was wrong. And if you are encouraging somebody to lie, that is, it constitutes, it could constitute perjury. And so it is something that the last person that it should come from would be the Attorney General, because there have been cases where the Attorney General has come to court where the party is not present, and they have contested the issuance of medical reports and so on to excuse the person from coming to court. So why do you want to do the same thing when it is to favor you? No, the law should, there is equality before the law, and the symbol of justice is a lady who is visually impaired or is blind and dispensing justice. So it means that justice doesn't look at who the person is or the character of the person, but it dispenses justice fairly to everybody that comes before it.
I say, you question the silence of the Ghana Bar Association at this point? With how things are played out, you expect that they should have spoken by now?
There is no Ghana Bar
Association. Hold on.
There is no Ghana Bar Association.
Professor Janko, pardon.
It's of concern. The silence is very loud. The silence is very loud.
I say, what would you have expected them to at least have done by now with how things are played out in this particular instance?
I think they should have made a statement condemning the practice or the act by the Attorney General, and should have also called for his resignation, or maybe even indicate that if that is not done, they are going to issue a petition before the General Legal Council. Because remember, the Attorney General also plays a big role in the General Legal Council, and he is officially the head of the Bar Association. So at every bar conference, he gives a statement. So all this put together indicates that if the Bar Association doesn't comment on this, indirectly it may be interpreted as an endorsement of what the Attorney General has done, or an endorsement of what a leader, a prominent person in the legal fraternity has done. So it's of great concern.
It's of great concern to you. Professor Kojo Appiah-Etua, if you please stay with me, and because we'll come back to you, and then the issues you speak about of the GBA. But Martin Kpebu, this is the Deputy Attorney General, also going on the same path as Mr. Namako has done this morning, that, you know what, yes, there's a recording, but it's of no consequence whatsoever to this particular case and the material issue at hand.
In court.
Or in court. Yes. Take a look. And as to whether this can be described as a mere allegation and of no consequence, we could call what the Deputy Attorney General, Alfred Ocansey, said.
I don't know the controversy we are talking about. A mere allegation has been made. And so if anybody thinks that he may want a committee to be set up, I disagree with such a person. And I don't see anyone who may want to even think that it's a matter that borders on the integrity of the Attorney General or any other thing. He's very resolute. He's well composed. He's out of jurisdiction. He'll be back to continue his work as an Attorney General.
can this be described? No. Let's
see Attorney General talks. I mean, you have the man, a kukudam, Gary Nimakum. You can't be a deputy attorney general.
He has been silenced.
Look at the way he's talking. Like a party fool soldier.
Let's not be giving.
Can you make a
deputy attorney general?
He's talking.
Let's not be giving anything.
We have the man.
Can you let
that guy?
Thank you. Let my former friend speak. He himself realized that. Let him speak. Let him speak.
Yes. So the attorney general is supposed to be a certain.
Let's make progress.
I have granted interviews on this matter, this particular interview, and the way Tuya Yeboah carried himself. Yeah, I condemned it. Tuya Yeboah doesn't even seem to appreciate the damage done to Ghana as a country, and he finds that as a laughing matter. You find him beaming with smiles all over. He said, mere allegations. They say, oh, come on. Tuya Yeboah doesn't seem to appreciate the office he's occupying. Yeah, it tells me he hasn't even brought an apology. He should be told. He should watch what he said. It's such a very serious matter.
What's the seriousness of it?
A tape in which there are at least 4 charges. 1, Attorney General suborn a witness that, no, go this way for me. 2, Attorney General tells the witness, fabricate evidence, go and bring a false medical certificate to seek an adjournment. 3, Attorney General who directly contacts an accused person contrary to Regulation 13 of LI 2423. That's our legal profession, professional conduct and etiquette rules 2020. Also against their own code of conduct for prosecutors. At the Attorney General's chambers, they have a code of conduct for public prosecutors. It's also against it, right? Number 4, Attorney General goes to meet an accused person in the house of a sitting Supreme Court judge. Austin Emisa, former AG at the time, he lost his office for a similar thing. 4, these are weighty matters. You see how I'm frowning my face more or less? I mean, it's not certain for me that Tuya Yeboah found that this is a matter he can laugh over. We've been damaged as a country. Damaged. And the way we are carrying on shows that we have fully embraced prosecutorial misconduct. Like Prof. Owe say, we are conducting ourselves like there are no elders in this country. Where is Yasantua? So for Kufu, maybe she should come to our rescue again. Because this is not sitting. Look, Ekufado has to sack Dami before close of today. What is this?
Before close of today?
Yes. Look, because the more this thing festers on, the more it shows that as a society, we embrace corruption. That is what it is. Speaking a bit loosely in this context, that is what it is. You can't countenance such conduct. 4. How are you going to spin all these 4? Please. Ansar Sari did well. Former director of the law school. He's done well. He said Dami must go. Dami must go. He's granted a number of interviews. I've heard him at least on not less than 3 occasions, right? Professor Apieje Etuya is also done well, right? Yes. So Kufu was interviewed first.
He taught you
before.
Did he teach you?
Yes.
Okay.
So Kufu was
teacher.
Yes.
Students, you are fond of that. When people teach you, appreciate your teachers. Say my teacher.
Oh yes.
Stop that. My teacher.
Yes. Professor.
No. Say my teacher.
Natural resource.
Say my teacher.
Okay.
That's how you have to. So that you be blessed.
Okay.
Yes. And I like it. I like to acknowledge all my teachers.
No, but you can never.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Right? Yeah, he's done extremely well. He's been consistent. He's granted at least, I've heard him at least 4 times on this matter. Yeah, even on one of the programs, I was on it with him on Joy News. He's been very consistent. Please, look, the elders, the older lawyers who are quiet, when history is written someday, they say you were enablers. Come out of your shells. What are you scared of? It's not safety to you are in your homes. Yet, as soon as they say they are looking for senior lawyers, you see very great people with walking sticks. They want to be counted first. In times like this, you are quiet. Yet, when they say statesman, then you want to stand up. What statesman are you if you can't be heard on such a matter? Why are we playing with this country? Is this what Kwame Nkrumah set out for us? Look at the litany of, infractions, and we are playing with this. As for Akufo-Addo, yes, we all know because of his corruption and because he has a direct interest in this, he would not do that. Akufo-Addo said family and friends is corruption. So that's even the first one. I don't even need to give any further evidence. As soon as he appointed family members, that is corruption.
You will not stick to the discourse.
No, I'm saying we are profiling everybody.
Without bringing the president's name into this particular discussion.
By every day, Article 58, he is to execute all laws. And Article 58 of the Constitution, he is to execute all laws. So when you find an infraction and he's not taking any decision, his name comes in. Let's read this Article 58. We kind of made him, what do you call it? I'm looking for Socrates' word, the prof.
Philosopher King.
Philosopher King. It looks like some analysts say that by Article 58, by saying that he should see to the execution of all laws, he's more or less Philosopher King. They forgot that a certain man called Akufo-Addo will come, and yes, he will not know Jack. Look, he's empty here. He says this: the executive authority of Ghana shall extend to the execution and maintenance of this Constitution and all laws made under or continued in force by this Constitution. So as soon as there is any infraction...
So this provision...
Yes.
This provision you just read...
Yes.
What are they going to do with the matter we are discussing?
It says, shall extend to the execution and maintenance. Execution and maintenance. Article 19 says that a prosecution shall be fair. Let's go. Gary, are you sure? No, wait. A person, please.
Stick to this. Stick to this course.
Yes. So let me go. 19 says a person, and this is one of the provisions. So when there is prosecutorial misconduct like this, it affects a fair trial. Listen, look, this area, don't joke. I have a full manuscript on this area, the law of disclosures. Okay, I just got sized tracked by the other book, the one that went to court. That's how I didn't publish the first one. I was almost done. You know, Bafu Boni disclosures. Yeah, I started 2 years before Bafu Boni. Yes, Bafu Boni on criminal disclosure. I started one in 2016 because I wanted to get a Supreme Court decision on it. Then I'll add it to my manuscript and publish. And then as it delayed before I went into the evidence book. These are things I've studied over 10 years. Listen, I'm telling you that when a prosecutor does this, under the law of disclosures, Attorney General was supposed to report himself. Once he didn't report and now the accused is brought it, the court will have to go into it. And I'm telling you, these 4 charges, even if one is proven, the whole trial has to come to an end. The whole trial, because we have to restore confidence in the justice system. You don't do abuse of process. Once they find that the Attorney General...
You are a judge.
Oh yes, I can espouse on the law. I'm not a judge.
The trial must come to an end.
We are discussing law based on what I know. Yes. So the law is that once a prosecutor has used any underhand dealings and is suppressing evidence that he met the accused and tried to suborn the accused and the accused refused, and now the information is come to the notice of the judge. Once the judge goes into it and that information is found to be true, please, the trial comes to an end. The trial comes to an end. There's one case, a related one, I'll show you. There's one that concluded, Repal vs. Abuaji and some other people. The police lied to the court that the accused was 18 years. Subsequently, when it came out that no, he was a juvenile, what did the court do? They set aside the conviction. They quashed it. So you find Abuaji, then, apart from Abuaji, you would find that Repal vs. Amuakwa, where we made arguments like that because of that lie, it should have gone to the benefit of Amuakwa and the other...
And not the prosecution.
Yes. But, of course, finally, the Court of Appeal didn't agree. But we have cases that show that once there's prosecutorial misconduct, the trial is quashed.
Let's take a look at this. One of the portions of the transcription, the attending voice that is purported to be the Attorney General head saying, and then even next week, the whole of next week, I will not be around.
Yeah. I
will be off. If you finish next week, I will appreciate it. Then, Richard Jackba, his head on the table, no. I will not finish next week. I don't think I'll be able to finish because the documents are many. So you will surely go and come and meet me. Then let's go to the next one. but that will also depend upon the judge's behavior. Then the voice purported to be the AG says you can bring one of the medical experts next week. Right? And this is one of the references that you make.
Yeah. Yeah. So I said 4 charges. 4. Look, and one of them, if you want, is sufficient to bring this trial to an end.
And what is the forum to do this? The forum to do
Yes, so in the courtroom, that's how come they file the application to stay proceedings. So that's all you do. Under law of disclosure, yes, you file to stay proceedings. And once the court, in hearing the motion, and you know, they can take viva voce evidence under it. Yes. So if that's to say,
the motion is pending. So
yes.
Let's wait to abide.
Yes, we are just talking about the law. We are not going into the evidence. So once the court goes into it and finds that the matters alleged, Akufo-Addo pressuring Godfrey Dame to prosecute all those things, Mangana Yamutu. The case comes to an end. Okay. And you know, we can use that as grounds to impeach President Akufo-Addo under Article 69. Under Article 69, he would have breached the oath of office to make sure that yes, yes.
Akufo-Addo, the Attorney General.
No, after dealing with Attorney General, he goes
Martin. We have to investigate what is between you and Akufo-Addo.
Exactly.
No, but you have a crook president.
Martin, please. What I say here,
politicians are crooks.
No, sending words. No. Sending words. I will not agree that I sit here and you are to the president.
I can say I'm free as a citizen.
Please.
Politicians are crooks. Am I not allowed?
Wait.
Martin, please.
It's been accepted generally.
Martin, please.
Gentlemen,
Martin, please.
Hold on.
Please, with all respect, please.
Let's establish some decorum.
Okay. So Mr. Ocansey, are you saying that we can't say politicians are crooks? Socrates said it.
You are out of order.
From Plato and Socrates.
But you're out of order. You see,
even before Jesus was born, I'm coming, Mr. Ocansey, let me finish one. Before Jesus was born, that book was written that politicians are crooks. And you are saying I can't say that.
Please stop what you are doing.
Politicians are crooks. I'm allowed to.
Yes, exactly.
But is he not a politician?
Are you a politician?
Hold on.
No.
You're not a politician?
Yes.
Are you a henchmark for NDC?
No, I'm an activist.
First of all, if you can hear me, let's just and I'll come to you, Professor Jampo. That call for the Attorney General to either resign or be sacked, is it one that you agree with based on how things have played out, or there is enough basis to make this particular call? Because the MPP, and by extension, Lawyer Gary Namako thinks that is out of place. It is a call that is misplaced at this time. What's your view on this?
Definitely. The president should do that in the name of saving or protecting the integrity of the Attorney General's office. We know that the records don't support the president, that the president will take such a step. And also the fact that some members of the party have come out to say that he has done nothing wrong and he shouldn't be dismissed. It's not likely the president will do that. Even the Deputy Attorney General has also rallied in support of the Attorney General. But what is a little bit I don't understand personally is, where is the Attorney General? Even if he has traveled, he can issue a statement from wherever he is. So his silence is also something that is adding to the call that he has done something wrong and he should resign. So if the president doesn't do it, then we look at other options. For example, Parliament instituted a probe to look into the matter. I'm sure everybody around the Attorney General knows that something wrong has been done, but the general position of usually reigning parties in office is that they don't want to admit something wrong has been done, and that has been one of the bane of our democratic development. The party in power deems itself as infallible, as invincible, and so it can have its way. And as a result of that, they will do anything to justify what it has done. And that is a worrying sign for our democracy, because as human beings, we can make mistakes. And if you look at how democracy has evolved in other parts of the Western world in particular, people easily resign for what there's something wrong they have done. They wouldn't even wait for the president or the prime minister to ask them to do so. And so that is what we should see being introduced into our democracy, so that we can say that we are moving a step forward. But as things stand, we are still where we are, if not retrogressing.
Professor Pejetua, and thank you for this point, and please stay with us as we go on. And there's a question about how the court would treat this tape recording, or should the court be minded by this particular conversation that was captured on tape?
Yes. Oh, but that is
quickly, and this is an
yes, that is the kernel of the matter. So the court will go into it. The Attorney General, even in his filings in court, has admitted that he's met the accused. So they will go into all of it.
Okay.
And then once the matters there are proven, bam, case comes to an end. Even assuming the court doesn't stop the trial, it's within the powers of the Attorney General, hopefully a new Attorney General, to stop it, because now the Attorney General's office is being damaged. The judiciary is being dragged along. So we must do everything to sanitize the system. That's how come that, listen, once the Attorney General admits that he met Japa, and now there are tapes, there are even more to come, he just has to go. So matters like this, you don't even need to contest, though, because the more you contest, then the more it shows that as a nation, we have still not gotten there. That's the shameful part, too. Let's realize this very well. The more you hear people defending this, collectively, it tells you that as a nation, we are still not there with our ethics. We have challenges. No wonder people say we've thrown our ethics to the dogs. Please, this is not a matter we can continue arguing like this. But now, Godfred Dame should have been sacked once he has refused to, resign. And Tia Ebuatu has to go because he doesn't appreciate the ethical dimensions of what he's doing. Now he's behind Godfred Dame and issuing statements and saying all manner of things that should not be said by a deputy. The two of them have to go.
Thank you. Now, for example, and there's a point that Matibegu just made about this matter and how it is being discussed.
Ghana, brand Ghana, damaged.
It should not be.
Brand Ghana,
please.
damaged.
It should not be one of those issues that will be subjected to an MPP NDC banter. And then, in most cases, you have common sense just being thrown to the dogs. It goes to the heart of the criminal justice system in this country. Respectfully, you've listened to the tape, correct?
Yes.
From the governor's perspective, how does this strike you?
So I've listened to the tape. I've read the WhatsApp exchanges. I've gone out of my way to also have some discussions with the Attorney General and to hear his side of the matter. Putting everything together and listening to respected people like Professor Kwejo Apieje Etua, that I would want to defer to anytime, any day on some of these matters. I think what appears clearly is that some conversations actually took place behind the scenes that I may say were aimed at ensuring that somebody, particularly Ato Forson, gets behind bars. And I believe that these kinds of conversations takes place among lawyers. We cannot say that it's Godfred Dame alone who has now done this. I'm sure lawyers do so. But my father told me before he died that there is an 11th commandment. Thou shalt not be caught. If you go and do it and they catch you, then you must face the law squarely.
But you face the music.
So, but the point is, you see, as I listened to the MPP, as I listened to others, I mean, they said the tape was doctored. and that there is a certain length of the tape, and what we heard is a shorter version. They also pointed to the fact that there was a meeting that was supposed to have taken place, or the meeting was supposed to have taken place or convened by a certain judge. But in the tape, as we heard, we never heard the judge speak, in that recording. And so they are using this as a basis to say that, well, the tape has been doctored. But the point is, if the tape has truly been doctored and then you have the full length of the tape, then you serve yourself better by putting out also the full recording of the tape so that we can be able to make an informed decision and judgment about some of these things. But what worries me, okay, as a Ghanaian, I'm not so much interested in some of these legalities. But the point is it true? Is it true that medical equipment, number one, is it true that the ambulances that were brought to the country were truly defective?
They were mere vans.
Okay. So,
but you saw the video.
No, yeah. After seeing the video, after listening to what have been said, and then also watching the video, okay, I asked myself, is it true that these, and I saw what were fitted in the ambulance. Maybe I'm not a doctor.
State of the art.
So maybe I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't know what ought to be in, what ought to be in an ambulance or what shouldn't be there. But I saw certain fittings, okay, in the ambulance, and that made me ask myself, is it true that these were truly defective ambulances? That's number one. Number two, is it true that medical equipment to be installed in these ambulances have not been cleared?
Before you go on, this ambulance came in energy time. They themselves did not take delivery of the ambulances because they said the ambulances were defective. That's the first core point. They didn't come in a time of MPP. They themselves didn't take delivery of the ambulances.
Well, you see, no. So let me, but yes. Okay, no. So, but you see, just governance. I get you. I get you. Governance is a continuum. No, so let me make my point. Governance is a continuum. So the point is it true that these medical equipment meant to be installed in the ambulances have not been cleared at the ports for so many years? See, I asked this question because we have a history. When Rawlings was exiting power, okay, he had imported some of these Isuzu Galloper vehicles. Okay, they couldn't clear it. Kufuor took power, and for 8 years, they left these vehicles to rot at the premises of the Institute of Local Government Studies, and they are still there.
No, they've been auctioned.
They've been auctioned. Yeah. Okay, all right.
Gary's government auctioned.
Okay, all right.
4 years ago.
But they were there for over 8 years. Nobody took delivery of them. So, and then is it also true that as a very poor developing country, chasing the IMF,
they took delivery, but they refused to pay. So the supplier sued African Automobiles. He sued. Okay. And it lingered on for nearly 15 years.
Okay. All right. So let me go on to ask, is it true that as a poor developing country, as a poor developing country like Ghana, is it true that we had...
gentlemen, hold on.
No, they are conspiring.
No.
They are conspiring.
No.
Listen,
please.
Is it true? No. You have entered into an agreement to have some ambulances delivered to you. And then, for the sake of argument, or somebody says the ambulances are defective, and so we don't need them. The issue is being discussed in the public domain. And then the suppliers of the ambulance said, no, these things are going to cause, these discussions are going to cause reputational damages, to me. And so Ghana is not the only country that I will supply ambulance to. I may be supplying ambulances to Nigeria, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. And so given the reputational damage, I want to pay. I want to give you 2 million euros. Is it true that we looked at their faces and told them that as a poor country, we prefer to jail a human being to taking $2 million, 2 million euros? I asked myself these questions and my heart bleeds. So I was telling somebody that, it's like, somebody has stolen from you. Somebody broke into your house and then armed
he picked your $10,000. By the grace of God or through the instrumentalities of the police, they managed to arrest this person. When they arrested the person, he was still holding your $10,000 intact. Will you choose to say, give me my $10,000, or you say that the person should be jailed? I was asking a group of students, and they said, we will take our money first and think about the next action. We are a very poor country. So somebody brought us $2 million because he wanted to pay more. And wanted to pay more. Yes. And we said that, no, we prefer to jail a human being to take in this money. Please, let me... The money really came together. No, but there were... What I'm told... I mean, if we really wanted this to go on, we would have said that, okay, deposit the money.
Exactly.
And then let us decide. You see, let us take note of this. You see, this is a caution to the ruling MPP. You see, ideally, the NDC, given its revolutionary past, is supposed to be a regime that would be vicious, a regime that will be vindictive, a regime that will be quote and unquote use other means, extra legal means, to deal with its opponents. We all remember, at one point in time, there was a national chairman of the NDC, Dr. Kwabneji, who was insisting that certain drastic action be taken against some people. And then, when he was quizzed that, but you have to go through process, he said, no. There are so many ways of killing a cat. And it was because, so at one point in time, it was Professor Mills who pulled the brakes. That no, even though we have a revolutionary past, we should still go through the processes. And it was the reason why we are told Jerry Rawlings had a serious problem with Professor Mills. Okay, so my point is, if somebody has run afoul of the law, if somebody has caused financial loss to the state, he should be dealt with according to the laws. Okay, but let us also be mindful of the fact that the revolutionary fervor of the NDC was only suspended. It is in their DNA. It was a leader who came and said, no, we don't want to go that route. But if a country would want to go that route, if a regime would want to go that route, it must be mindful of the fact that some of us, we would advise the NDC not to go that route should it get power. But it must be noted that that kind of attitude, conspiring and trying to do things against political enemies at all costs, that one is in their DNA. If they want to do it, they can do it better or more dangerously than we are experiencing. But that is not where we want to head to as a nation. And so, like I said, let me make the point again. If Atuforsen is guilty, let us use the legal processes without other means to find every ways and means to jail him at all costs. Let us not do that. Otherwise, tomorrow, I'm telling those in power now that if the NDC decide to show its true colors as a party born out of revolution, then we may all not have peace as a nation. I'm telling them. So they should tread cautiously. I'm saying again that the revolutionary fervor of the NDC was only suspended during the regime or the reign of Atta Mills. And even because of that, he never had problem. He never had peace. And I'm sure it was because of these pressures on him by Jerry Rawlings that all hastened his death. Because he was being pressured to do things against his own conscience. But I do not think that a future NDC leadership may have the kind of tolerance and that attitude of as shown by Professor Mills. They may want to also do things in a manner akin to their own ideals. And when that happens, then some of these means, doing things behind the scenes and trying to jail people at all costs, I mean, they can do it better. But where will our democracy be if
what will be the future of our democracy if we allow these tendencies? And so I would plead with the MPP that let the party or let the regime resort to due processes of law. Let the regime also be mindful of the fact that there would always be a tomorrow. And then with my friend Alfred Dame, I'm sad for him. Okay, what has happened? You see, no matter how you try to explain it. See, I heard Chia Yeboah. I said, that's this guy. Is he serious?
That's it.
You see, we are saying that these things that happen decimate or further decimate public trust in the court processes and in our justice processes. Yeah. If you do these things, it reduces the public confidence in the court processes. Yeah. And you are saying nothing has happened, we are going on, nothing has happened. Is he a Ghanaian?
That's the question.
Is he serious? Please, in appointing, you see, this is what happens to us as a nation when appointments are based or are made without recourse to meritocracy. If you appoint party full soldiers as deputy attorney generals, when they speak publicly, instead of them sounding sober, instead of them sounding like statesmen and stateswomen, they talk to rather inflame passions. They speak to play on the emotional keyboards of people. They should be mindful. Never has this. It didn't used to be like this. Why is it that in this particular regime we are having so many problems with the judiciary? The public confidence in the judiciary has gone down. Every now and then we are trying to manipulate. Every now and then there's been several accusations and about packing the courts with judges. It didn't used to happen like this. Even during Rawlings's time, we had a lot of confidence and respect in the judicial processes. During Rawlings's time, the man who said he was not a fan of multi-party democratic rule, even during his time, we had confidence in the court processes. But in the era of President Akufo-Addo, the man noted to be a Democrat, we are further decimating and reducing public trust in the judicial process. And when you go and say you have a deputy attorney general trying to talk like a party full soldier, dismissing this fear that is being expressed, it is unfortunate. I would plead with President Akufo-Addo to have a word with Alfred Dame that, look, in the interest of building trust, okay, rebuilding trust in the judicial system, in the court. You see, now, anytime he's handling a case, people may have certain fear.
Abdullahi has said we should audit all the cases he's prosecuted.
People may have certain fear. So, I think President Akufo-Addo should come and tell us something, about this particular. He should come out publicly to say something about this issue, what has happened, and if possible, have a word with the Attorney General, and let's see if it means he has to resign. I mean, honorably, that look, this one was a little indiscretion on my part. I told you that every Attorney General, I'm sure, may have done may have had a private conversation with a witness, like this before. The only issue is that he was not caught. And the 11th commandment is that thou shalt not be caught. My father says, if you are caught, you must dance.
All right, thank you. Professor Jampo, thank you. Nelson Ross, I mean, the latest to this is that the third accused, in this case, Richard Jakba, has filed a court application seeking to have the charges against him dismissed, or alternatively, you have the proceedings against him stayed. Was submitted on May, this application was submitted on the 30th of May by his lawyers. And we have portions of that we'll put on the screen for the benefit of those listening to us on 3FM 92.7. Mr. Jakpa is arguing that the charges and proceedings initiated by the Attorney General, Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, constitutes an abuse of court processes and violates the obligations set in the 1992 Constitution. In fact, he goes on to make a number of statements which he says he's ready to be cross-examined on. And that's the instructive aspect of all of this, that he is ready to be cross-examined on all the issues.
And that's where my fear is.
Yes.
So if Jakpa succeeds in adducing evidence to back his claims that actually Godfrey Dami told him that it was President Akufo-Addo and Kanu-Foyata who were putting pressure on him to jail Atuforsen, then the NPP would succeed in being described as the worst government in decimating public confidence and public trust in the judiciary, and that will be unfortunate. Why is it that why is it that the MPP President Akufo-Addo still want to wear that tag?
Right,
as being the worst president in the Fourth Republic.
Okay, so
why do you want to wear that tag?
Let's look at this.
The last time my teacher Jimabodi said so recently or this week, Ansa Asare has also said the same thing.
She says,
why do you want to
please
wear that
take
tag?
notice that this honorable court shall be moved by Thaddeus Surrey of Surrey at Law, counsel for and on behalf of the third accused applicant, hearing praying the call for an order 1, striking out the charges and accordingly terminating the proceedings against the third accused applicant, or alternatively a stay of the proceedings before the court against the third accused. And please take further notice that the grounds of the application are the Attorney General at whose instance the third accused and applicant is being prosecuted in the instant suit has brought the charges and instituted the proceedings in abuse of the process of the court, and contrary to his constitutional obligation under Article 23 and 296 of the 1992 Constitution. The Attorney General at whose instance the third accused applicant is being prosecuted in the instant continues instituted the proceedings in abuse of the Attorney General's prosecutorial powers, contrary to his constitutional obligations under Article 23. And that's what you see on the screen there. For the benefit of those listening to us on 3FM 92.7, it continues. In engagement with the third accused applicant, the Attorney General has admitted that there is no case against the third accused, Richard Jakpa. That's point 3. He said the Attorney General actually admitted that there's no case against Richard Jakpa. And that the continued prosecution of the third accused applicant violates the third accused applicant's right to a fair trial. It continues. Let's go to point 12, 13, and 14. It says, after proceedings for the day, that said day, he had a conference with his lawyers who demanded a full explanation from him, Richard Jakpa, about the statements he made in connection with any engagement with the learned Attorney General in court. That particular statement, he says the Attorney General has been contacting him at odd hours and so on. If you look at point 16, it says...
Paragraph.
That's point. Yes.
Paragraph 16. That's what we call it.
Yes. Honorable Dami also explained to me that the first accused, that's Dr. Kesla Atuforsen's prosecution, had to be undertaken because of pressure from the former Minister for Finance, Kanu-Foyata, and the President, and assured me repeatedly that I was not the target of the prosecution. You know, this particular point, and what Richard Jakpa is saying, he is ready to actually be cross-examined on. What does this say about this particular case?
Now, thank you very much. You see, I have a copy of the motion filed. I have a copy here. And because it's pending, it's not been determined, it's not been moved and argued, I won't go into the merits. Yeah. But the gravamen is that Jakpa is saying, based on the matters, you know, in law, this is like voir dire. It's a hearing within a hearing. These were matters that arose when he was, or as he is on the stand, he's being cross-examined. And when such a thing happens, the court can sue motu Institute of Wadir to determine the veracity or otherwise of this before they progress with the substantive matter. And that is what is going to happen. Now, but Prof raised an issue, so I want to touch on that briefly regarding the contract itself to supply the ambulance. And let the record reflect that the ambulance purchased and supplied by or distributed by the Honorable Ocansey when she was Minister of Special Initiatives followed similar trend. Let the record reflect that. She also brought in her 200 ambulance, I think 275 or so ambulances. They were packed for over a year. If you recall, the minority, we had to cause a press conference at the car park of Parliament saying why wouldn't the ambulances be distributed, because the constituencies needed them for their work, because that was when COVID had just struck. And in her answer to a parliamentary question by a member, she came to admit that they were waiting for other requisite medical equipment to be fitted to the ambulances so that they will be fit for purpose. So the delay was not deliberate. They were waiting for this additional special equipment that will be fitted before they could be deployed. And those equipment were brought and fitted to the ambulances before they were distributed. One constituency, one ambulance, if you recall, that was the policy.
That was the Kufado.
Yes. So the policy to procure. So the policy to procure.
You comment on it.
So the policy to procure ambulance using this format, it's not only limited to what the transaction the Honorable Atuposen is being accused of. What was the procedure? We were to procure 200 ambulances to be supplied in 4 tranches of 50 each. Now, the ambulances were to be a Mercedes-Benz, I think model 311 Transit. Or no, 307 Transit. But the agreement was awarded to Big C in 2012. So this contract is about 12 years old. Then Jakpa, being the principal agent, the agent of the principal in Ghana, had a disagreement with his principal, Big C. And so he went to court. What did he do? He had agreed earlier, he had initially agreed with them to take 10%. But the records will show that he went back to court to now ask for 28.35%. So that matter dragged. And it affected the duration and the timelines for supply. But eventually, they put their house in order. And so they came back to the ministry to supply the ambulances. And this was around 2016. In 2016 February, there's a report issued by the Ministry of Health. That's to the Honorable Minister of Health. And this came from the Director, National Ambulance Service, Professor Ahmed Zakaria. In this report, you will see that there were some obligations that Big C was to have undertaken as performance of the contract. Then the GOG, through the Ministry of Health, was also obligated to perform certain obligations. And let me read our obligations. 1. The Ghana Ministry of Health will expedite action to get the remaining 20 ambulances cleared from the port at earliest possible time. 2. All the 30 ambulances will be assembled together at a location of choice of the Ghana, that's Ministry of Health, for the technical team of Big C to work on. 3. Clearance of the medical equipment for the ambulances will be done by Ministry of Health. 4. Ministry of Health will assist technical team from Big C to acquire visas to travel to Ghana for the purposes of addressing these technical issues. 5. Ministry of Health should endeavor to renew LC to pave way for continuation of projects. 6. Ministry of Health should ensure that invitations for pre-delivery inspection are honored. 7. Ministry of Health should get personnel who will be trained on usage of the vehicles and equipment to be on standby for the technical team from Big C. This was dated 22nd February 2016. All right. Now,
and this is a memo from the Ministry of Health.
From the Chief Director to the Minister.
Okay.
After they had they tidied up all the issues with Big C.
Okay.
And were willing to make progress with the supply of the ambulance. Something very interesting happened. During the submission of no case, which the judge ruled on and gave a reasoned ruling. If we go to page 37 of the ruling, the judge referenced evidence.
Is that the ruling?
Yeah, this is the ruling.
It's not certified.
Oh, why?
It's not certified.
This is the ruling.
It's not certified.
Oh, this is the ruling of the court.
It's not certified.
So, I printed it from the internet. Okay. So, yeah. Now,
okay.
If you read page 37 of the ruling, the judge made a reason reference to the evidence led. And he says PW1, Dr. Anson Bridjan, stated that there were defects with the vehicles when the team from National Ambulance Service inspected them. His testimony on the 31st of May 2022 included the following. Listening to the nature of the defects. A, we went around all the ambulances, opened all the doors, the bonnets as a way of going to start our inspection. We started the inspection from the exterior part of the body, and these were our observations. A, we observed that the red, gold, green colors, that is our national colors, were not properly done in the sense that the ends were loose and there were air bags, which means they can easily be peeled off. Do you know what she speaks of? When you put stickers on a wall, the bubbles, if it's not properly done, it will bubble. You can perforate it and it goes.
Right.
B, we also observed that there were no working lights which could be used during the night for operations. C, we also observed that the word ambulance, which is supposed to be written in the reverse order on the bonnet, was also not there. The ambulance being written in the reverse on the bonnet enables the vehicle ahead of the ambulance the opportunity to view his rear mirror to see there is an ambulance coming.
Okay.
D, we also observed that the ambulance emergency number, which was at that time 193, was also not written at the back of the ambulance on top of the doors. Now, he proceeds further. Then we move into the patient's compartment. These were our observations. A, we observed that the patient trolley was too low, and also it was not moving on the trolley platform, which means the wheels on the trolley can wear the floor of the ambulance. B, we also observed that the attendant seat at the head of the trolley, which was a swivel chair, was not firmly fitted. C, we also observed that the other seats at the side were also too low and would not give comfort to the paramedics.
I see.
They were also without seat belts, which means the occupants will not be restrained during the movement of the ambulance. D, we also observed that the cabinets where medications and other consumables will be kept were produced with a mica with sharp edges which can easily cause injuries to the occupants. E, we also observed that the drawers were also not self-locking. This was just moving back and forth. F,
what are you trying to do?
What I'm trying to say is that these were such inconsequential and de minimis defects. When you say an ambulance cannot be properly labeled, its inscription, it can easily be done. When you say there's a light that is not be fitted, it can be fitted. When you say a lock is a cabinet is not locked, a lock can be fitted. These were not defects that should go to the core of this matter. That's because you raised the concern. That is it true that the ambulance that were supplied were defective, that they couldn't function as an ambulance? All right. So technically speaking, there was no problem with this matter, which will lead us to where we are. That's what I'm saying. But I'll leave it there.
Lawson, can you explain to us why the NDC in your time didn't take delivery of these ambulances, if that is what your arguments?
So let me show you.
Was it that you were the party was exiting?
So let me show you.
I want you to come.
It's very crucial. Now you will see that the report sent by the chief director in February 2016 mentioned that the rest of the ambulance will be cleared, as well as the equipment that will be fitted to the ambulance will also be cleared. This is the bill of lading that came sometime in. My question. Oh yes, your question.
Don't run away from the question.
I'm not running away from the question. Why? A bill of lading that came sometime in October 2016.
October 2016.
It came to the harbour, and you can tell that in October 2016 we had a month barely to election. Because December is not counted. We only had December. I don't know what caused the delay. Then November, December, the elections were held. Then NDC is out of power. So it behoved on the ministry to then clear these things and fit them with the ambulance so that they can be deployed. That is why my chairman said during the press conference that it is this government that refused to clear the items at the port.
So now,
the items are still at the port that they were supposed to have been fitted.
Somebody also not going to be charged for causing financial loss to the state.
So I'm saying that, technically speaking, the people who should be charged for causing financial loss to the state are the people who are to pretending this delay. But I'll leave it.
And if a police officer says he won't arrest you, then he doesn't want to arrest you. But if a police officer says he will arrest you, he would by all means be able to arrest you. So the regime should be very. You see, I don't like the politics of vendetta. Okay, and that's why some of us are talking the way we are talking. And it should be mentioned. My father told me again that a police needs to if a police officer says he will not arrest you, it means he doesn't want to arrest you. But we can always find regimes can always find reasons why they would charge you with having caused financial loss to the state.
Okay, well, point well made. Your father said a lot, and he's sharing a lot with me.
He's a philosopher.
Now let's the fundamental issue here.
Yes. So now. No,
whether there is basis for this.
No, my initial comments were to address the issue raised by Prof. Now, what we are being confronted with is the professional misconduct of a sitting attorney general. That's the allegation. What is the evidence? The evidence is that he had made improper contact with a witness in a matter that is prosecuting. In making that improper contact, he did it severally. And in doing so, he attempted to suborn the witness. In addition to that, he attempted to corrupt the witness, not merely suborn him, but to corrupt him to say that if you claim that you are unwell, you should go procure a medical report, a medical excuse duty, so we can prolong a matter that is already prolonged. That is corruption. That is fraudulent conduct. An attorney general ought not to have offered such an advice. Look, lawyers, when other parties confront you in court, you say that you know what to do, or go and see your lawyer, he knows what to do. That's what we do. That's what we are trained. You don't offer opinion or counsel when you are confronted by your colleagues or even a party in a matter. You say that you know what to do. Lawyers don't talk. So even if the attorney general was so unguarded on this matter, he ought not to have proffered an opinion to Jakpa that then go and seek a medical excuse duty. He could have said that, Jakpa, you know what to do. You are a seasoned litigator. Yes, he didn't do that. He showed the way. And that, for me, alone should be a basis for him to be dismissed. Now, let's put all these Jakpa's claims aside. The Attorney General, when this matter erupted in court on the afternoon of 23rd, our National Communication Officer came out from court and said there was a bombshell in court. So he held a small press conference and went into the matter and assured the nation that this is not a matter that is being fabricated, and that there are clear evidence, cogent evidence to back it. Then he ended there. The Attorney General, in reacting to this press conference, went to town against the NDC, went to town against the minority leader, my leader, and actually ended by denying ever making contact with Jakpa or anybody from his office. This is his statement. On the 23rd of May. Then, the next day, when perhaps evidence began to emerge to back Jakpa's claim that indeed there was contact, indeed the contact had occurred, indeed there was an attempt to, in fact, indeed the AG actually suborned him, indeed the AG actually offered unlawful way to do things. Then they changed their, as we say in our local parlance, they changed their mouth. They now, through the PRO, came to say that, oh, we agreed that there was a meeting, but the meeting happened in the home of a Supreme Court judge, the name withheld. That was the statement they issued. Then the national organizer of the party put out the name of the judge. They issued Justice Yoni Kulendi's name, that the recording actually happened in the home of Justice Yoni Kulendi. Now they were willing to throw the judge under the bus. We didn't issue his name. They issued his name.
But
all right.
Was it right that he also convened that meeting?
No. So I'm getting there.
And nobody is saying that.
No, I'm getting there. So the matter has now snowballed from being the professional, an issue of the professional misconduct of a sitting attorney general, to now becoming a judicial scandal. All right? So I've gone to look at the code of conduct for judges and magistrates in the Republic. And I think rules 3, 2, 4, under the principles of integrity and all that will be catching the judge if this matter is not properly handled.
Okay.
That's why I have called on the Judicial Secretary to issue a statement regarding the role of Justice Yoni Kulendi in the matter.
Okay.
I think it will also serve the judge himself properly if he responds to the allegations presently making the rounds. But be it as it may, the Attorney General's conduct offends as many as 11 rules of LI 24-23, 2020, an LI that he himself, as the Deputy Attorney General to the Honorable Gloria Kufu, came before my committee in Parliament, Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, as well as the Subsidiary Legislative Committee, to help enact. Rule 8 says, when you are a lawyer occupying public office, there are certain conducts you don't engage in.
And did he give details of this types of conduct?
The rules, there is plenty. I don't want to bore you.
And some
Rule
of it.
13. Rule 13 tells you that you cannot communicate with a person who is represented in court. Then they return with a defense that at the time
Richard Jakpa
hold on.
His
I thought they said that there was no contact. Their 23rd May statement by the Attorney General, he said neither himself nor any person from his office made contact with Jakpa for purposes of obtaining illicit evidence. Then they come back and say that, oh, at the time we made contact with Jakpa, he was not represented. How did they know that Jakpa was not represented? Where is the evidence? So that's a clear admission of guilt. Now, when you go to 30, Rule 30 says that you cannot make improper contact. Improper contact is clearly defined in the rule. You can't be meeting an accused person you are viciously prosecuting in the home, even if it's in the home of a registrar. You, a prosecutor, you can't do that. Even police prosecutors will do what our Attorney General has done, with all due respect to them, because my suggestion is that because they are not trained lawyers. Some of these etiquette matters may not be properly
appreciated by them.
Yes,
okay. They are to be trained.
But I'm saying that. I'm saying that.
If I may ask.
Yes. No, let me finish.
A plea bargain
I am tackling your plea. Hold on.
Okay.
I'll come to your plea bargain. So I'm saying that even a prosecutor, an inspector prosecutor in Marua Kweve, who is prosecuting cases before the Peking District Magistrate Court, will not do what the ANAG has done in this matter. He won't do it. He has look, the office of the Attorney General, do you know what it means? You offer the greatest legal advice to government on any matter. Your opinion weighs over. That is what cabinet accepts. When you enter court, your case takes precedence over every other lawyer. That is why when an attorney general enters court, he's giving that look. I become so emotional. Yeah. It's an office that Gary and I aspire to occupy as practitioners. That's the greatest office for every practitioner.
He nearly became Attorney General.
Nearly.
Yes. And then you get the opportunity to occupy it, and you demean the office this way.
But his personality, this man, would have been more.
No, you don't worry. Yes, make your point. Make your point.
Rule 35 says that you must be candid with the court. So all the engagements he's had with Jakpa, has the Attorney General disclosed this to the court? No. He did not. It took a rude interruption from him and an extreme provocation to get Jakpa to reveal these matters. So this rule has also caught him. Rule 40 talks about special responsibility of prosecutors. He breached all. Rule 53, Rule 56, duty to assist the court. His conduct didn't assist the court. He's brought the image of the court and the justice delivery into gross disrepute. That's what he's done. Rule 57 says that he has a duty to disclose. He did not.
Okay.
Rule 67 says he must not make a dishonest or fraudulent illegal contact with witnesses. He did that. Rule 72 says you must not communicate with a witness who is giving evidence in a matter. He did that. 82 says he must not make contact with a witness. So as many as 11 rules of our LI 2423
that governs the professional conduct of lawyers.
The conduct breached it. Then they come and tell us, look at the WhatsApp exchanges. If somebody you are prosecuting sends you messages.
You mean the WhatsApp messages?
Yes.
The one with this.
If you are an attorney general properly so-called, you even block the line. But he responded and said, he didn't say, okay, arrange the meeting through your brother. He says, I will arrange the meeting through your brother. And when I insist that the meeting that they themselves are referenced as having taken place in the home of Justice Kulendi was at the instance of the Attorney General, they say it's not true. If he intended it to be at the instance of Jakpa, he would have said that, well, then arrange the meeting at your brother's residence. I will appear.
Is that the one you're talking
Even
about?
that, it will still be damning. I will arrange through your brother. Thanks. They haven't denied that it was Dami who said this. They haven't denied that he sent this, and this was from his phone to Jakpa. They haven't denied all this.
I see.
So the whole matter is such a scandalous matter. Do you know what is done to our reputation as a nation? I got a call from some my friends in Kenya who are lawyers. It's so embarrassing. Yeah. It's so embarrassing that he hasn't even seen it fit to leave office willingly. And he has the effort to tell us that he will stay on, and others are telling us that he will stay on today, he will stay on tomorrow, and that even if Bawumia wins the election, he will still be made Attorney General. We hear them.
Okay. Thank you.
My question was not answered by...
Let me finally. Hold on. Finally, 30 seconds. I have to take a 30 seconds. Gary raised a matter that you can't record people when they don't know that you are recording them. The principle of our evidence gathering in our jurisprudence is that it is immaterial how evidence is obtained. If it is relevant for the prosecution of a matter, the court will admit it under Section 51 and place a probative value upon it, depending on what the court will do. That is why the judges, let me reference you, all the 10 or so high court judges who were caught under announced tape, they raised this issue. The Supreme Court refused and said that it was material. They all went home based on that principle. All the judges, some are even dead now.
Okay, thank you. No, Sir Ross, thank you.
You are Attorney General, you are prosecuting my former chairman upon the allegation of leaked tape. When there's an allegation of leaked tape against you, you don't want to go home. You go home.
We'll be back shortly.
There will be a demonstration.
We'll be back shortly, gentlemen.
There will be a demonstration.
I see. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. There's an issue that is also of serious concern that we'll talk about after this quick break. Stay with us. We have a number of your messages. I would go into them, and this is a promise. As many of them as I can read. Stay with us. We're live on 3FM 92.7 as well. This is Key Point. We'll be back shortly.
It's 25 years of music excellence, 25 years of creating and celebrating legends. Join us as we celebrate a quarter century of the Telecel Ghana Music Awards Festival. Saturday, 1st June at the Grand Arena from 7 p.m. It's the ultimate night of music, fashion, and unforgettable performances. Performing live, Stoneboy, Kwame Eugene, King Promise, Mr. Drew, Nasir, Amarado, King Paluta, Afia Amare, Team Eternity, and many more. Limited tickets available for 500 CDs premium and 700 CDs VIP. For VVIP seats, call 050-1288-520. The 25th Telecel Ghana Music Awards is powered by Charterhouse with support from TV3, Guinness, Captain Morgan, Close Up, British Council, and sponsored by
Telecel, connecting energies.
This season, Ghana's Strongest is back with a powerful twist. This is the Duo Edition. Watch as our able-bodied male and female athletes compete in this season's Ghana Strongest, showcasing their strengths, endurance, and determination. Who will rise to the challenge and claim the title of Ghana Strongest 2024? Catch all their action, the triumphs, and the unforgettable moments. Don't miss the premiere of Ghana Strongest 2024, Sunday, 2nd June at 4 p.m. only on TV3. Ghana Strongest. The power to do. Brought to you by
Deluxy Acrylic Paint, Kivo Foods.
The time has come for you to rise and let your light shine, to embrace the power and potential that resides within your heart. Ghana's Most Beautiful is not merely a competition, but a celebration of our beauty, our strength, and resilience of Ghanaian women. It is a platform to showcase your unique talent, share your stories, and inspire others with your grace and elegance. We are searching for the next Ghana's Most Beautiful. Are you the one to win the car, cash, and crown? If you are, join us as our audition train moves.
Yes, from the vibrant capital city of the northern region, Tamale. Join us on the 7th of June in Tamale at the Gariba Lodge. Then we move to the land of rich culture, Kumasi, at the Mickling Hotel on the 9th of June. Then we move down south to the coastal charm of Takrade on the 11th of June at the Rainbow Hotel. And finally, the last stop to the heart of Ghana, Accra, on the 15th of June at the TV3 premises in Kanda. All auditions start at 8 a.m.
Step forward, take a chance like I did, and become the embodiment of Ghanaian beauty, wisdom, and grace. Embark on a journey where beauty intertwines with culture and dreams come true. Embrace the challenge, embrace your destiny, embrace the crown. Ghana's Most Beautiful awaits you.
I think what the commission did was to correct the figures and to inform the general public that some changes had been made within the team that were developing these data. And whilst I do not hold brief for the team, because they were relying on Coral Draw to come up with these pie charts and graphs and so on, that they were doing this manually. And so what we have done is to go back to the drawing board and use Excel. And so we may not have those colorful, graphs, and the focus should not be on that, because the application that was being used was not able to do accurate tabulations. And so you found that people had to do, they had to do it manually. So that Coral Draw has been abandoned, and an app Excel has been applied. But again, I say this, that because we are a listening commission and we intend to build trust, you come back, you let the people know what went wrong and what has been done.
Welcome back to Key Point on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and on DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. A few of your messages, and then we'll go into the next issue. I actually just heard the chair of the Electoral Commission talk about. We're still working to get through to the Director of Electoral Services at the Electoral Commission, Dr. Srebo Kweku, to also join us. Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. Togbi, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo sends a message. He says, I have said time and again that what this nation needs is a culture of resignation. Anyone without that culture of resignation should not be allowed to get close to leadership in any form in this corrupt nation. Late Justice Austin Emisa did that honorably. He resigned as Attorney General in 1979. This is what Togbi Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo brings to the table, the institutional knowledge and the historical references. Thank you. Thank you very much for this. Togbi Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. So it has happened before, essentially, that's what he's saying. Yeah, that, yes, indeed, I recall that. Thank you. Musa Abatwa in Asawase, Kumasi says, Alfred, the recent developments in the ambulance case where the Attorney General Godfred Dame is allegedly caught on tape trying to coerce star witness Richard Jagba into giving false testimony to implicate Atto in deeply troubling and undermine the integrity of our legal system. Such actions, if proven true, represent a serious breach of justice and also a legal system. We must advocate for a legal system that operates free from coercion, corruption, and undue influence. This one here says, good morning, Alfred. My regards to Lawyer Nimakon. Please tell him I admire him a lot for his demeanor and attitude. Bernard. I think you've got that a lot coming today. This one also here says that we must all be concerned, regardless of the political parties that we align with, that the legal system and what has happened now is a threat to our democracy. And this issue of the Attorney General should not be captured, or I'm sure what you want to say, it should not be discussed in the MPP NDC kind of way. We must get serious with our law and enforcement in this country. Okay, this one here from Maxwell. Prince Henry from Koforidia says, the MPP should just provide the original voice tape between Mr. Jagba and Godfred Dame, so we know that whatever the NDC played to us was doctored. Simple. Until then, we would not take what they are saying, you say, seriously. Hardy from Pig Farm. Good morning. This government is an aberration, you say. The Attorney General is, okay, goes on and on. You're asking how Lawyer Nimakon will see anything good about the brouhaha between the Attorney General and Jagba. You say, thank you very much. This one here says that there is it Johnson Esiedun Ketia was the one addressing the press. His voice was not in the recorded phone conversation. What he did was to come and explain at a point to the journalists what the conversation was about. Anytime he does that, the recorded phone conversation was paused. There is no voiceover. That's a palpable lie, you say. Thank you. This is coming from Ni Ama Tefio. I have 1,500 of your messages, and I can only read so much. But I would want to put it on record that I thank you so much for all the messages that have come through so far on the issues that we have spoken about. There's a question that Professor Jampo, and I'll give you a minute to do this because we have to move to the...
I just wanted to find out from my three co-panelists here,
who are lawyers,
as to whether we still have the Ghana Bar Association. I'm talking about that association that joined other pro-democracy forces to fight for Ghana's return to constitutional rule. Do we still have Ghana Bar Association there?
Okay. Why not?
Are they still staffed by courageous people, or now they are all cowards? Is it true that Godfred Dame, what he did was professional misconduct? If that is the case, why is it that the farmer, you are the only person saying it? Martin Pebu, why is it that you are the only person saying it? So the GBA, is it that you guys are wiser than them, or they don't know? I am disappointed. Ghana Bar Association has only functioned well in in voicing or articulating grievances against one particular regime. When that regime is no more, they can't work, they cannot be heard. Yeah. Shame on them.
They are lawyers.
GBA, shame on to you. GBA, shame on to you for your deafening silence. We know the role that you play in the return of Ghana to constitutional democracy. We know the role that you play.
Ask a question. There's an answer for you.
They have kept governments. They used to keep regimes on their toes. They would issue statements here and there condemning, what was going on wrongly in society. But today, Ghana Bar Association, they've been cowed into submission. How the current regime cowed them into submission is something that should be researched. Okay. I don't understand.
You asked a question. Let me just get a quick response. So hold on.
You remember the two of not all of you responded. Let all of them respond. I am disappointed. Yes, my lawyer.
Respond again.
Yes, my lawyer.
You see, in every situation, there's something called Odi Alterem Pattern. Odi Alterem Pattern. One party has just spoken by licking a tape. The other party has not responded. Hold on, Roxy, hold on. Hold on. Please, let us wait for matters to unfold. Let's not forget that this panel or the media or any other forum cannot place guilt on the Attorney General. Okay, unless the GLC go to the GLC forum. That's where they will assess the entire situation and then put it in perspective. And then hear both sides and then say, what you have done, they constitute A or B. At this stage, if you do this, we are prejudging the matters already. We cannot say at this stage that, yes, this is what has transpired. Let's just hold on and wait. While we are in this country, we are not going anywhere. Let's wait.
My lawyer.
And let's
the silence of the Ghana Bar Association has been fully definite.
Everybody knows everybody who's accused.
Okay, let's conclude on your point.
So the point I'm concluding is that there have been allegations upon allegations and here and there, back and forth. I'm saying that the AG has not spoken.
Now put this matter aside. Okay. I mean, you have studied Ghana's political history. We know what the GBA stood for. How they were always articulate on all issues.
Okay.
They subjected governments, to street proofs and kept them on their toes. These are lawyers who know the law.
You've had a first response from the first lawyer. Yes.
Mr. Ocansey, Prof has a point about GBA being silent. Listen, in governance, GBA at minimum can come out. They are not saying that Dami is guilty. But once Dami admits there were those contacts, they will say, listen, Dami, resign now, go take care of it. If after you are found innocent, etc., you can come back. Kufuor sacked Anani. Of course, we didn't agree, but eventually he brought Anani back. So the GBA can say something.
All right.
They are not coming to determine guilt or not.
Hear
But
the final lawyer's
it's
response
so
on this.
tacky
Yes,
that Dami has to go. So, Mr. Ocansey, people are preparing for a demonstration. Yeah. Alert.
Are you inside the demonstration?
Okay. People are prepared.
Why are you saying you're inside the demonstration?
Alert.
You are inside the demonstration already.
They're prepared.
Hold on.
Yes. It's the principle Gary is invoking is inapplicable.
Which is and why?
Which is that audio utterance pattern. The Attorney General has spoken like 3 times on this.
After the leak, supposedly.
You are saying that he hasn't spoken.
Yes.
And so you are making that a fundamental point that we should wait until he speaks.
Yes.
The man has spoken, and spoken garrulously on the matter. On the 23rd of May, he issued a long statement. In how many paragraphs?
I'm talking about after your press conference. After your press conference.
But the matter erupted in court.
No, after your press conference.
Hold on.
Oh, Roxanne, let's put it.
Why?
After your press conference.
Why?
Has he spoken?
He has spoken.
After the press conference?
He spoke through the party. The party defending him. The party says they are defending him because he's their member.
I'm talking about the AG himself.
And then
I'm saying that Tia Yeboah never spoken on his behalf. His mandated
Tia Yeboah spoke before the leak. The leak.
Yes, then the PRO spoke after that. Then the party also came in after the press conference. So this idea that hold on, Gary, you are my friend.
The other side.
You are my friend, but you are doing a speaking point analysis. You have been giving points to come and say.
No. What did you see? But
you've been giving points to come and say.
Thank you.
Because this idea that Dami hasn't spoken, it's been said everywhere. Dami has
will not look kindly on
through people. People that is mandated.
Thank you very much.
So it's been heard.
Okay, your point has been well made. Thank you very much.
It's been damaged.
So the response to Professor Jampo is fair and square. Thank you.
Yes.
Let's move on to the next.
So they
tacitly all admit that there is no GBA. There is no GBA. But the GBA is moribund.
Well, that's
GBA is there, but they are in bed with
not everybody would agree
that's
with.
a fact.
That
is why now we have Law Society of Ghana.
Thank you.
Will they be able to speak? Should power change hands? Will they do that?
Let's maintain some
decorum. They do all the time.
Thank you. The Ghana Bar Association would also have their own take on this position that you have taken as well, I'm sure, in the coming days. The Electoral Commission, the Electoral Commission this week, in fact, the limited voter registration exercise ended after 23 days. One of the things that was astounding, at least based on the Electoral Commission's own statements put out there, was the reliance on the guarantor system. Even though we have increasing numbers of persons going in for the Ghana card. So, and the Electoral Commission is still convinced that the Ghana card is a sure way of dealing with minors and foreigners on our register. So, as reported by the Daily Graphic, there's actually a conversation to have the bill, another ally, go back to Parliament to make the Ghana card a sole documentation for identification during the registration. When I spoke to the MPP and the NDC after the IPAC meeting on Thursday, they all indicated that this matter was not extensively discussed at IPAC, so they don't really know where this is coming from. But essentially, a lot of people who went through the limited voter registration exercise relied on the guarantor system. What does this say if we're going on this path again of considering the Ghana card as a sole document for registration? In fact, we spoke to some first-time voters, young people, as a matter of fact, who just turned 18. Some of them say, you know what, as a gentleman who will play that shortly, says he was just walking by the roadside, and somebody met him and says, you know, today is the last day, go and vote, go and register. I will guarantee for you. This young man says, I don't know this person from Adam. Take a look.
Students and our timetable didn't favor me all the days. So today's the day I had time, and then I decided to come and do it today.
So why did you have to come for the card? Is it for voting purposes or other reasons?
Okay, so I came here for voting purposes, and I have my own reason for coming here to read the card, because I want to vote for a PC who thinks about the well-being of his people, who thinks about the youth.
I'm from Accra Technical University and I'm a student. I don't have that enough time. Today is a free period, so we decided to come and register.
Normally I have class from 7 to 5, but today I have a free period, so I decided to come and do it today. I'm not sure I'm going to vote because I'm not into those voting stuff.
Me, I didn't want to do it in the first place, but they were forcing me. Like today, I saw a certain man and the person told us that we should go and do, he will guarantee for us. So I decided to come. Then I came here and they did it for me.
Are you 18?
Yes, I'm 18.
Okay, so you is it that you didn't know about it, or you are not interested?
I knew about it, but I wasn't that much interested.
So it is on the statement of that last young man who spoke. He saw a certain man, told him to go and register, and they guaranteed for him, and he's registered. For example.
Well, I think it's been discussed before. The issue has been brought to the public domain or to the fore about the weaknesses with our guarantor system and the need for us to do something about it. And if these occurrences would bring the issue back to the fore for public discourse, I mean, so be it. If the Electoral Commission, in its wisdom, believes that the way to go now is for a tabling of another LI to make the Ghana card the sole documentation for identification, for voting purposes, let this be discussed, at IPAC meetings, and let a consensus be built around it. Fortunately, the Electoral Commission, I'm thinking, is now willing to listen. I mean, there were several calls that there were several calls for the extension of this registration exercise, and the Electoral Commission, even though earlier on had said that it was going to stick to its the time frame, ended up extending or yielding to the demand. And over the week, I think they held an IPAC meeting to review the registration process, and I saw the kind of exchanges and body language between Dr. Manebuama and Jim Mensah, and I felt that was good. I mean, the Electoral Commission must reach out or do more about how it relates with the parties in opposition, just for the purposes of building its own institutional peace so that it can work and have the peace of mind to work. And so, if we still want to go the route of ensuring that we abolish the guarantor system and stick to the Ghana card, and I'm told, I had a friend who came from the US and then tested my Ghana card and said, hey, the Ghana card has every information. The amount of information that you have on the Ghana card is so huge. So if we would do well to ensure that virtually all of us have Ghana card, then it would make sense. There will be no need for all of us to have Ghana card and still rely on a certain guarantor system that is proving to be ineffective. But if we want to go this route, I would plead with the Electoral Commission that it tables it again with the parties at IPAC meeting, and let there be dispassionate discussion of this so that all across the divide or buy into it. It becomes easier for the Electoral Commission to implement or to push another LI to abolish the guarantor system if it is able to get the buy-in and ownership of all across the political divide, at IPAC meeting when such issues are tabled and discussed extensively. So I would reach out, urge the Electoral Commission, and I think for some time now I'm seeing, we've always said, that independence of a commission does not mean you must lord it over your stakeholders. Without your stakeholders, you cannot have independence. And so I would continue to urge the Electoral Commission to build a strong relationship with its stakeholders, and also its body language outside. You know, anytime the Electoral Commission is addressing the press or addressing the media or gets the opportunity to speak, you know, publicly, and it is videoed or recorded, the language does not show that they are always appearing ballistic and combative. But you need everybody. Who are you fighting against? You may mean well, but there is a way to go about your body language that would elicit a certain positive acceptance and acceptance and reception from the people who are listening to you. I look at Boss Manasari anytime he is granting an interview, and sometimes, well, I've told her so, but sometimes my own boss, Jim, and I've told them that, look, you should also in your public appearances not be seen to be too ballistic and combative, so that you can bring all on board to support you. Because, see, without a credible electoral commission, without an electoral commission that has public trust, without an electoral commission that is seen to be working with all across the political divide, elections become unnecessarily competitive, and there's always anxiety, there's always tension, and sometimes the possibility of such anxiety and tension degenerating into chaos and violence to relapse our democratic gains becomes high. So I'll urge the Electoral Commission to do well, to build bridges, to relate well with all stakeholders, and to ensure that if there is going to be another LI to abolish the guarantor system,
it will be a CI.
Yeah. Well, if there's going to be that, it becomes owned by all. It shouldn't be an imposition. It shouldn't happen that Electoral Commission alone saw this problem and has decided that this is what I want to do. You work with stakeholders. So it is important that you work together to ensure ownership of such a decision, so that implementation becomes smooth.
In fact, we have information, at least some 13,000 new applicants or registrants having their registration challenged because of the suspicion of either they not turning 18 or foreigners and so on. Then they all went through using the guarantor system.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at this pie chart that the Electoral Commission even provided on its Facebook page, 62.1% approximately of the persons who had registered as at a certain period within the registration relied on the guarantor system, 62. And 37% relied on the Ghana card and 0.28% on passport. As at the end of the exercise, this reliance on the guarantor system did not change significantly. We have a lot more people relying on the guarantor system, which, according to the Electoral Commission, is an avenue for foreigners and minors getting onto the electoral roll. So we're still back to square one, Mr. Nebako.
Yes, Mr. Ocansey, I think it's a problem that we are confronted with. I agree with Professor Jampo on everything that he has said. I think there has to be a buy-in of all the political parties on this subject. You see, if you look at the structure of our parliament now, 137, 137 plus 1, it will be difficult to push some of these things through without an absolute majority. And our constitution makes it very clear that every citizen of Ghana, 8 years and above, of sound mind, has the right to be registered to vote in public elections. Which means that once you are 18 years and you meet these constitutional imperatives, you should be registered. But then the constitution also makes provision for the EC to make constitutional instruments to regulate how this can be done. That's the CI we are talking about here.
That's right.
You know, over the years, we have relied on this guarantor system all this while. The problem is that has been an avenue where political parties, especially some of them, you know, find a way to get the people who do not maybe qualify to put them on the electoral roll to create all this problem. And if you look at where in some areas there were issues of, casualties and attacks and all those things just because of the Ghana system. The same problem. So more or less we are back to the same situation. How do you move from here? I think that by and large we have to agree as a country that let everybody who has to get the national ID card, the ECOWAS card, whatever they call it, to try to apply to get them. So that by and back, we can roll out the thing in phases. So I think with time, once you have the card, you will not require the grant system again. So there should be a conscious effort to make sure that everybody who is qualified to get it. That's the way I see it, because now you go and register, and when you go to the pool, they say you don't qualify. You are challenged. 30,000 have been challenged. When are they going to go through the process of the challenge and complete to issue them with a voter ID card or otherwise? It's another lengthy process. But if you had your Ghana card, it's a straightforward matter, no problem. Because the Ghana card, the features of the Ghana card, clearly everything is there. So I think we have to, resource the NIA, National Insurance Authority,
Identification
Authority, to resource them very well so they can roll out more people on board and then capture a lot of people so that we will not rather require this grant system again. And people should be encouraged to go and get a card. And they can do it in the schools, because now in the schools, 18 above, you can, and I think 16 years you can get the card, isn't it?
Yeah,
at 15 years.
Yeah.
So if there's a gradual roll on, 15 years you get a card, I think that, bit by bit, we will be facing out this kind of regime where people must now get character system to be on what? On the voter ID, register. And again, if the implementation of the, the digital, what do they call it? The birth certificate. If it is fully implemented,
yes,
I'm pretty sure that if you are born today and you are captured, by the time we get 15, 16 years, you're already on a national database. So I think it's a work in progress. But let's move on gradually and let the EC get a buy-in of all the political parties. Because if NDG says they want it, MPP says they don't want it, NDP says they want it, MPP says they don't want it, then we can stem it.
That's true.
So the EC has to come down and work with all the political parties, just in the interest of the country, so that at the end of the day they can do a good job, and then we can go and vote. When we go and vote, free and fair, and then my brother Roxanne still stays where he's staying, and then we continue from there, and then we find something for people to be doing. So I think that is how it should go. What do you think?
Certainly, you are speaking.
But the thing about when this CI discussion was going on in Parliament, it was never laid, but there was consensus on both sides that the EC should go back and work on some things.
Yeah.
That, at least based on that consensus position that Alexander Fenyamakun, who was then the deputy majority leader, said in Parliament, that both sides of the House had agreed that the EC should go back and check some things within the CI. So that consensus
that was the earlier CI that was late,
yes,
which they didn't agree, and they referred it back to the EC. And that's what allowed the EC to do this registration with the same guarantor system.
Exactly.
But the number was now increased from 5 to 10. But you cannot guarantee for 10 people instead of 5 people in the earlier CI. So for me, as I said, I agree with Professor Jampo. They have to agree with the political parties. Work with the political parties. The posture is very, very crucial. Sometimes when it becomes like a belligerent posture that maybe it's our way or no way, then everybody take internal positions. I think there should be engagement.
Yeah.
What is it that we can do as a nation that will make sure that we can move forward? We are seeing that this, guarantor system is giving us problems. Anytime when you go to a center for registration, people are fighting. There are challenges. And what is the challenge? There are physical attacks, or even they prevent from even registering.
Yeah, true.
But those with a Ghana card or with a passport, they just go and they go through easily. Nobody challenges them. But there has to be a gradual effort. We should make sure that we give them enough resources. The EC, the National Identification Authority, and all that, so that they roll the thing out in phases. So that by the time a person gets 14, 15, 16 years with a birth certificate issue coming on board, everything will be on stream. So I think that maybe in the next 5, 10 years, the numbers will reduce. I'm sure the numbers will reduce. You will have more people being enrolled on the Ghana card than maybe now. So I think it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. That's the way I see it.
Thank you.
Mr. Martin has nothing to say.
At all. At all. What is he going to say?
There's nothing.
Let's get the thing to Glossy. This is nothing to say.
This is Akufo-Addo matter. You, apart from Akufo-Addo matter, what do you have to say?
Please.
Yes, a voice on the matter.
Yes.
Respectfully. You know.
And don't mention the president's name here again. I'm sitting right
last time. There are 52.5 billion. Please. Gary, are you aware 52.5 billion is missing for? Yes,
please.
Auditor General,
you have been asked a question about voter registration.
No, there are 52.5 billion. It's serious. The way we are suffering, don't you think
you invited him? You invited him. Thank you. Thank you.
2.5 billion that we can't account for. Yeah. So okay, well, you see, there are some fundamental issues here. Very, very critical. This case is like half a dozen, 6 of one and half a dozen of another. Look, it's one and the same. What is it in the Ghana card that makes it better than the guarantor system? What? I don't get it. Listen, the thing is that when you go to register today under the guarantor system, bottom line is that the parties are represented. They are there. They check. So if anybody has any reason to believe that the person who is seeking to register is not a Ghanaian or is underage, there is procedure under CI 91, right? It goes through. It's a judicial system.
Yeah, but it's giving us problems. It's giving us problems.
But is there anything that doesn't have problems?
So we should just stay like that. We shouldn't
I don't get it. So let's
go for Adam is giving us
exactly.
Okay.
The other part is a big problem on our hands.
Let's yes.
The department is a big problem.
Next time, not come and do this job.
The digressions are too much.
Wait.
Too many digressions. Let's be focused.
So let's conclude on
this. So
the issue.
I don't really get it. Listen, so I was making the point that we've given an adjudicatory process. If you have any challenge, you put it through there and then let the court system work. There's a district court and then so on to high court, right? In the CI, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah,
even in the CI.
It is there, but I'm saying that if we can get a system whereby we can clear this thing off our hands, that's what we must progress as a country. We get a system whereby the Ghana card now has all the features, and we have about 90% of the majority of people having the Ghana card. It will do the challenges in the system.
You see, the Ghana card, you don't know there's guarantor system in it.
Yeah, but then the security inbuilt over there is much more enhanced than this one. You see,
the value is the same. As long as you get the Ghana card, you can also use the guarantor system.
It's not the same.
No, there's guarantor system in the Ghana card.
Yeah, what's the point exactly?
Yeah, so I'm saying that to acquire a Ghana card, there is a guarantor system. To go and register for the elections, there is a guarantor system. The value is the same. People in the past had said that because for the Ghana card, to guarantee and the rest, you make the statements on oath.
But I think under Act 750, only a relative.
One is tense than the other. Yes, getting a Ghana card, the guarantor system in getting the Ghana card,
Act 750.
It's not the same as the guarantor system in registering.
There are two different.
Okay, one becomes highly tense.
Guarantee.
One becomes highly tense. Okay, I have not heard people,
but I think
that kind of altercation.
Yeah.
My point is that we cannot move as a nation.
I don't get the point. You said they are different.
Okay, so
they are fighting the police station there. They are fighting there.
People are going for Ghana card, and then they are asking for somebody to guarantee. The processes.
So that's why very soon the Ghana card, we have to send the parties there to go and check there, because then it means that people will go to the NIA and do their guarantee.
But the point is that if we all admit or accept that Ghana card is good.
No, I don't accept that.
We don't need a Ghana card.
For Martin, so you offer everything in Ghana, you don't accept it.
Oh no, free SHS. I support President Kufuor for it. Oh, that's my heart.
Okay,
that one. Yes. Any day you mention
what we go for,
I'll talk for him.
So I think that's what should be taken. I think we should excommunicate you.
Professor Jampo. So yes. No, you round up. I think that I was just making reference to the difference in the guarantor system. I think that what Professor Jampo was talking about. If you look at Act 750, it details the difference in the guarantor system.
Yes.
So in the case of the Ghana card, you need a relative who has to swear before a commissioner of oath to guarantee for you.
Yes.
It's not as stringent in the same case as the guarantor system in the electoral commission's processes. I think that's what, for example, was answered.
Yeah, I don't buy that argument.
Why?
Except that there is not much time to just say, when you say a relation, this is Africa, this is Ghana. What degree? Is it totally circumscribed? It's been a long time.
No, but Martin, my question is that do we
we are all related?
Do we accept that we all need a Ghana card, or we think we don't need a Ghana card?
No, for the purposes of registration, I don't think we should restrict it to Ghana card.
Okay. I'm talking about
Ghana card, yes, good for other purposes.
So my point is that if we all need Ghana card, and we would all be able to get it.
We will not all be able to get it. That's how come you go to the banking system, they force it down our throat. Millions of citizens don't have the banking, don't have the Ghana card, and the banks are shutting them out. It's such a huge problem. Very huge. If
there's a way to resource them.
What resource is being spoken? Look, let's stop this long theories. Listen, people go there. Have two people guarantee for them. Let the system go on. It's been working for 30 years. Let's go. Let's go.
So we should stay.
We are giving ourselves more problems.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Get violence at the centers.
You have the
make any progress.
Thank you very much.
It will get better.
So
every system
you are not a statesman on this.
No, the Ghana card has issues. I don't have a Ghana card.
I understand, but I think that if we all can get.
I don't want it.
Oh, so how do you go to bank?
I don't want it. Yes, now I'm out of the bank.
You're out of the bank. You're keeping money in your homes.
No, let's not do this. Thank you. Please. Let's not push this, gentlemen. Let's not push this argument. Let's not push this argument. You were in your constituency. You were in your constituency. You monitored the process, please.
Yes.
You monitored the process.
Yes,
the evidence of the guarantor system's challenges.
Yeah.
And how that can be improved upon.
Okay.
Would the Ghana card be the cure?
Okay.
To this.
First of all, a law is supposed to be a tool for social engineering.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to help solve a problem. What is the problem that this legislation seeks to solve? We are unable to register every Ghanaian by policy of 50 years and above onto the Ghana card system and issue them with. We have reserved the registration to the district offices. So in my constituency, somebody is 50 kilometers away from Pepe or Peki, where they are located, from Ajebu. So if he turns 15 and is supposed to come to the registration center, it has to be at great economic expense. If there is no such money, he can't be registered.
Right.
If the MP is called upon and he is unable to assist in that regard, he's not able to be registered. It's all over the place. And the statutory body, the entity Ghana, the National Identification Authority, tells us that they have constraints in moving to the communities to do community registration.
Yeah, okay.
Which I think has to be looked at.
Yeah.
Because we have set up an entity to register every Ghanaian and issue them with national ID. There should be no impediment put forth to frustrate them from doing so on community basis, even going to the market centers to do that. And so because of that, and because of the recognition of that problem, we have decided that as part of our electoral voter registration or getting names onto the electoral voter register, in addition to the identifiable lawful documents of a national ID card and a passport, 2 persons must guarantee for you. All right? Okay. Now, the guarantor system is not being abused. What is creating the problems is politics. And I'll cite my constituency or district.
Okay.
The registration that we just concluded in South. Last year we registered 1,750 thereabout before the district level elections. This year we registered 1414. That's 1,414. Now, out of this number, 46 were challenged. Out of the 46 challenged, 45 were challenged based on age. You don't look at somebody's face, height, skin color, skin pigmentation, apparel, and determine that the person is not of 18 or not of age. Because the 3 grounds provided in Article 42 for the realization of the Article 42 rights, it's only 3: citizenship, 18 years or more, and of sound mind. As a people, we have glossed over the 3rd component of sound mind.
How did he tell you sound mind?
Thank you. He has to take a medical report. But it's such a constitutional requirement. Nobody is able to venture on that leg. So they proceed on grounds of not being of age. When you put the person who has placed the challenge to prove the basis of the challenge, they say, I have nothing. I realize that he is looking young and that he doesn't look like he's 18. Those are all the grounds. So in my constituency, I got all the 44 cleared, except one that was challenged on grounds of residency. Even that one is still not a requirement.
And the CI added the residency.
Yes, but I'm saying that one is even wrong. Even in Parliament, we add residency cannot be a ground because that is not in tandem with the Constitution.
That's correct.
You see. So
then amend the CI.
Yes, we will have to do that because I carefully looked at it. I said, no, we were wrong in Parliament in grounding it on residency because the Constitution uses the phrase hail from and all that to qualify a person. Now, in my constituency, 70.22 people register using the guarantor system. Why? Because they don't have the national ID card. They don't have it. Between 70%. Yes, 70%. Between
is it that serious?
It's that serious.
But Kenatifa has always been saying
I will
that
get there. I'll get to Prof. And I think Prof is also playing politics with his work. Let me demonstrate.
What do you mean?
Let me demonstrate. Prof hasn't rolled out a massive district registration for the past 3 years. He's been complaining about inadequacy of resources. So what he has instituted and came to Parliament for support is that he is rather setting up premium centers in the regions. The regional capital Ho is nearly 80 kilometers from the last village in my constituency, which is to the eastern border at Dodia Santikrum. Then you are asking the person that if your card is missing or you want to correct names or clerical errors, you must travel to Ho and pay 400 Ghana cedis. That is the premium he's charging. Then out of the blue 2 weeks ago, you issued a statement and said you were rolling up national ID registration at Pusiga. So the member for Pusiga, Ajialadi Ayamba, raised the issue that, we are having voter registration or limited voter registration for people who just turned 18 between last year and now. So if as a national entity you want to do this at such a border town as Pusiga, what is the purpose? All right. So I just question the propriety of this sudden decision by NIA to roll out national ID registration in Pusiga. And it's when you do things like this, the suspicions now crystallize. It moves from fringe beliefs to crystallization. So why not roll out in all the districts at the same time? Because you are capable, you have district offices. You could have said that as part of enhancing the registration efforts of the EC, you also want to roll out the NIA registration Even you could have moved closer to the EC center. So persons who are 18 but who don't have the card could quickly register today with NIA, get the information, because even if they don't have the card, you know, like a license, you don't have the license issue, but you have cover note. You could give them cover note, then they can use the information to get onto the voter register. You don't do that. So if we stop playing politics with our statutory functions, I think people will begin to have confidence in the system and genuinely believe when you say that you have inadequacy of funds and therefore you want
so, and then those heading these statutory bodies should also be candid and sincere if they have challenges like inadequate resources.
Thank you.
You should open up and say it. Prof, when you are criticizing them, then they come out with...
Prof came to Parliament last year and made all sorts of points that he was capable of rolling out 15 million cash and all. We should give him, they gave him the money.
Subject to.
You understand? He was given the money. He subsequently issued a statement that he's printed the cards. Up to now, he's not been able to distribute them. The cards they are holding the cards.
Are you also aware that some of the cards have been printed and they are in the offices?
No,
people don't also go and pick
because
the cards.
you see, because you see, you have refused to visit the communities. So then you must do community engagement. You must do community sensitization. That I was here 3 years ago to register you. The cards are in, so please come to the office. You don't do any such community rollout sensitization. You think that people will by some magic know that the card the registration that you did for me 3 or 4 years ago, the card is with you?
There was a case that went in court against NCA. All right, when we did a search, we found out that the cards have been issued.
I sued NCA. I sued. You forgot. I sued.
You were the placement in the matter.
Yes.
Okay. Some of the people who you listed them, their cards were ready at the first office. And I saw them. They were ready, but they had not gone for the cards.
They had to take a court action for that to be done.
But
that was how come the court refused my application.
Exactly. You see, but they didn't go for the cards.
So do sensitization. Do a rollout.
The sensitization should be
pickups. Put announcement centers on the pickup.
But they don't have the resources to do that, and they will not admit
that they don't have the resources. You are charging premium fees.
I see.
For replacement in your premium offices. So now you are generating money. Because once you set up premium offices
in your village, how many people would have?
Thank you.
So then don't set up a premium office and give the people the basic service.
I think there should be a deliberate effort by a national education authority to constantly roll out and keep rolling out to the time that we can catch at least about 80%.
Why are we making
for me
of issuing national ID card?
This perennial incident of...
Then suddenly says that he's going to issue it to infants. You saw that notice. You can't serve adolescents. You can't cover full adolescents in their entirety. Now you want to move to children.
Okay.
He issued the announcement sometime.
I'll give the last word to you, Mr. Demarco. You are making a point.
Yes. As I was saying, I'm saying that there has to be a conscious effort by the authority to get a more catchment area for citizenry. Because for me, this perennial issue of every year registration and people are fighting, using cutlasses, machetes to maim themselves, I don't think it's good.
Okay.
And if you have the card, it makes the process very easier and seamless. For anybody who has gone there with a Ghana card or a passport, they don't get any problem at the center. They just go and register and they come out. So I think that they should be supported.
Right.
They should be supported to ensure that they roll out, at least majority. They can't even capture all. At least majority of Ghanaians who really want to have their names on the Ghana card must be able to be captured.
Thank you.
That's the way I see it. Yes.
I'll conclude with the last word to Professor Jambo on this issue, because you see, all of this, if we had maybe a national development plan defining the approach to everything that we do, including, for instance, whether to grant tax waivers and so on and on, we would have less problems. We've had a number of development plans initiated by different administrations. Even though governance is a continuum as captured in our Constitution, Directive Principles of State Policy, there is a blatant disregard for that provision, and parties rely on the manifestos. The NDPC this week, they put out a 33-year development plan, even though there was a 40-year development plan that was put out by Dr. Nimoy Thompson's led NDPC. Dr. N.S. Thompson, I beg your pardon. That's Dr. Nimoy Thompson, yes. So what is the difference really? How much of an impact will this make going forward? And for example, this is just to you, and then we'll round up.
No, we are not a serious nation. Failure to plan simply means planning to fail. You must always have a plan, an overarching plan that all efforts aimed at bringing about development will be drawing inspiration from. But we are plagued with the challenge of abandoning or policy discontinuities. And I've always argued that no nation can start, no nation can develop when it's always starting anew. Let me tell you this. The first time that we had a youth development policy for Ghana, for instance, was in 1999. It was prepared by E.T. Mensah. NDC lost the 2000 elections. Kufuor threw that 1999 policy away and spent 8 years to prepare national youth policy for the country, 2008 national youth policy. The MPP lost the 2008 election. NDC came in to introduce a youth policy in 2010. Now they lost the 2016 elections. MPP came in to also introduce their own. We are always starting anew. The first time we have, in the history of the Fourth Republic, the first time we had a broad overarching development policy framework for Ghana was in 1996, Vision 2020. Okay, NDC introduced it. MPP came, they said it is not our vision. So they threw it away. They brought in the GPRS1, GPRS2 to be able to assess COVID, HIPIC benefits and all that. And then they lost. Atamils came, he introduced a medium term, whatever. Yes, and then that one also NDC lost. And before NDC lost, we had done a certain study. I published that study, how to deal with winner takes all politics by ensuring all-inclusive national development planning process. The argument was simple. Let us have a national development plan that would receive inputs from all across the political divide. Okay? And having garnered or gathered input from all across the political divide, let us also make sure we entrench that plan such that it becomes binding on successor, regimes, and it will become binding because then people may have people across the political divide may have received or may have inputted into it, and so they would own it. And if it is also entrenched, and it is moved beyond the Chapter 6 of our 1992 Constitution to an entrenched provision, then it becomes binding on successor regime. So we made this point and said if it is adhered to, then we can have a truly national development plan, and then it will guide everything that we do. Nimoy Thompson's NDPC, I'm sure, bought into this idea, and that's how come they had the 40-year national development plan. The challenge in Ghana is that anytime a regime is doing something and solicits input and participation from all across the political divide, the political parties outside government would send people who either have no clout to represent them, or they will send people who wouldn't wield enough influence to go convince those who were not serving on the committee that this is what we have agreed on. Let me give you just one example. Right. When we were preparing, when I was serving as a member of the Electoral Reforms Committee of the Electoral Commission, we had participation or representation. I represented the IEA then on that committee. The NDC was represented by Asiedu Nketia, and then the MPP was represented by Peter McMeno. Okay, now later on, people started criticizing Kwabena Japan that, look, Kwabena Japan is not serious. That's how come NDC is being represented by its general secretary, and Kwabena Japan had delegated that role to McMeno. But Kwabena Japan, in his wisdom, felt that within the MPP, the one who knows the electoral processes is McMeno. So he was forced to push McMeno out of the committee, and then he himself went to represent, the party. And Asiedu Nketia had a field day because Asiedu Nketia knew much about elections than Kwabena Japan. But we sat as a committee and then identified so many proposals of that
so many proposals for electoral reform. Key among them is the need for us to bring the election day forward from December 7 to November 7. And this was a proposal that they all bought into it. Now, when the idea was tabled out there, whoever represented the MPP could not convince his people that, look, this one, we brainstormed on it, we agreed, we dialogued, we did everything. And so it is worth accepting. They couldn't do that. Right. And so when the issue was tabled before Parliament, it was shut down. Remember that in constituting the Constitutional Review Commission, no mean a person than Akintin Apia Menka represented the MPP. Yet, when the Constitutional Review Commission got done with its findings, okay, Apia Menka could not convince the MPP that, look, this is a document that we have all sat to prepare. It received inputs from all across the political divide and the cross-section of the Ghanaian city. They couldn't convince, and that's how come Akufo-Addo has jettisoned the process. So my point is that if a 40-year plan was prepared and it was jettisoned, the 33-year plan would not outlive the regime. And that is our challenge.
Okay.
We keep starting, and I'm saying no nation can develop when it is always starting anew. And I'm surprised that the NDPC spent money, time, and effort to do this, knowing very well that we are always starting anew. Unless there is an elite consensus about the need for us to have a national plan from which all partisan manifestos will be drawing from, any effort by the NDPC to always be preparing national policy framework and national plan will amount to unnecessary dissipation of public resources.
Thank you. Professor Ransford Jampo is a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Legon, and also a governance expert and an international repute. Also, Gary Nemakomafo is private legal practitioner. He's the director of legal of the NPP. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Really appreciate you. Also, Martin Pebo is private legal practitioner. He's a convener for the Reloaded demonstration, and also the convener of one of 3 individual bondholder groups.
Oh, I wanted to talk about... And the soon-to-be-done Dami Must Go demonstration.
The soon-to-be-done Dami Must Go demonstration. Thank you.
It's inciting the public.
Thank you.
It's an offense.
Oh, boy.
To incite the public. It's an offense.
No, against the perpetration of offense.
Thank you. Thank you. He's a member of Parliament for the South.
To just pick up the phone and call Martin Pebo and ask Martin why.
It's a member of...
Akufo-Addo will not do that. You should call him.
Gentlemen, thank you. I really appreciate you coming. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And to you, our viewers as well, and our listeners on 3FM 92.7, thank you very much for keeping faith with us all the time. And we're back again next week. I was clothed this morning by Willis Clothing Empire. You can find them on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Willis.
They should give it to your panelists. So that
you said you wanted, but you never made yourself available.
They should give it to your panelists so that we also wear something.
Okay. So, Willis Clothing Empire, that's to you. My name is Alfred Ocansey. On behalf of the rest of the production team, thank you for staying with us. Have a great weekend.
It's 25 years of music excellence, 25 years of creating and celebrating legends. Join us as we celebrate a quarter century of the Telecel Ghana Music Awards Festival. Saturday, 1st June at the Grand Arena from 7 p.m. It's the ultimate night of music, fashion, and unforgettable performances. Performing live, Stoneboy, Kwame Eugene, King Promise, Mr. Drew, Nasir, Amarado, King Paluta, Afia Amaray, Team Eternity, and many more. Limited tickets available for 500 CDs premium and 700 CDs VIP. For VVIP seats, call 050-1288-520. The 25th Telecel Ghana Music Awards is powered by Charterhouse with support from TV3, Guinness, Captain Morgan, Close Up, British Council, and sponsored by
Telecel, connecting energies.
When it comes to the world of sports, what does complete mean to you?
When my team scores at the end of a 30-plus passing sequence,
just like Pep Guardiola style. When someone beats the buzzer with a shot from the logo, like Steph Curry.
Dominating opponents and punching my waist to a knockout like Africa's greatest boxer, Azuma Nels.
Running so fast I can afford to celebrate midway through a 100-meter race and smash the world record like Usain Bolt.
Hold up, what makes all of these sports complete is the screen. This is where you get access to all the extensive highlights, analysis, and insights.
So do join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. live on 3FM 92.7 as we serve you the best sports buffet and most satisfying in the sports world. The 3 Sports team will come together to review, preview, and analyze the latest in the sports world here on Sports Ultras.
This season, Ghana's Strongest is back with a powerful twist. This is the Dual Edition. Watch as our able-bodied male and female athletes compete in this season's Ghana's Strongest, showcasing their strengths, endurance, and determination. Who will rise to the challenge and claim the title of Ghana's Strongest 2024? Catch all their action, the triumphs, and the unforgettable moments. Don't miss the premiere of Ghana's Strongest 2024, Sunday 2nd June at 4 p.m. Only TV3. Ghana's Strongest.
Foods.
To rise and let your light shine, to embrace the power and potential that resides within your heart. Ghana's most beautiful is not merely a competition.